people is that it's up $5 from that 110 area, so that's a good little move there. Also still down 8%. AMD now back to earth a little bit, down 7 again as that had a nice move up. The name that I should not be in any longer, Uber, that's down 5. DraftKings, we talked about a little bit of that with Kevin as well. ARM, SMCI, Marvell. So some of the unwind is happening, very small though today. Like Marvell was up 12, 13% when it wants to go. We'll take it down 2% day. That is for sure. But yeah, good day overall here today. I hope you guys enjoyed the last half hour.
Absolutely.
It's been a banger first couple of hours.
It's already 11 o'clock too. Now the thing about Shopify, it's now just dead sideways too. Like there was one shot for it to bounce, but this goes back to like having an entry and having an idea. Like when it got to 143, it does a bottoming tail candle, bounces off 142.50. Right, but if you say, okay, 143, I'm just going to go long somewhere in front of 143, put a stop at 143, then it kind of runs you out. But it does that bottom tail, but it's doing nothing. If it just goes sideways, holding that support line, there can be a secondary play here because it's in an all-morning trend that, in theory, has broken, but it's just not doing anything with that just yet. So we'll see. Do like some IBIT. I don't know if we'll get back into Bitcoin. But Bitcoin didn't get to VWAP while we talked to Kevin. It got so close, but that's a nice looking bull flag. The market looks weak. IBIT looks strong. This is a potential breakout and then room to 36.8, which is like 65,000, in front of 65,000. But it's 11 o'clock. Your favorite JLHL will be in play. The YXT, yeah, they're both halted right now. Both those two names are halted. So it's likely to be a midday halt fest. Over there. We know what Sharif will be looking at, but we'll find out what Joey Options is interested in as well. We'll see you back at 2 o'clock. I want to thank you to Kevin for sure. And Luis as well should be stopping through because Luis, he comes in the morning. You'll see him again in a couple of hours. So enjoy, and we'll see you too.
See ya.
Oh, I'm not even plugged in, Joey. Boom. You see those glasses that I had there, the blue ones? They are no more. I slept on them. Oh, yeah, man, I don't even have another pair. Boom. Greetings, salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That's your boy Joey Opsh, the options man. I'm Sharif, and let's say hello to everyone. Benton, it's all over. Bruno Guimaraes is officially a gunner, Juan. He's on the way to Arsenal. And I saw. We'll go to see it in 1 second. We're just going to say hello to everybody. 420 Bud Monster, mad love right back at you, buddy. Jeffrey Jurassic, love the name. Oli. Wyatt. We got Jody, used item. Shout out to Jody, customer. We got Brooke Lavi, CompuCare team. Been a minute, brother. I haven't seen you in a minute, CompuCare. Good to see you back. Dragos, the Rob P. Shout out to OG Darth Trader, Snowman. It's Shafi, as well as Matt Silva. Shout out to Wyatt. Shout out to Gamecraft Nico, John D. Pietro, Crazy Dirt Weed, and Manny Olive. Shout out to Sit and Spin and Winnie Pooh Guru. Love that one. James, 63 Wicks, Wannabe Trader, B. Cameron Smith, Rusty Shackle. Ooh, gotta clean those up, man. You don't wanna have to take a tetanus shot over there, man. Stevie City. Brandon, JC Trader, and Dino Abedini. Joey, just before we get to see and say hello to you, we're just going to send it up to Sia real quick. She's got this.
Keep an eye out on USO that was dropping right now. We had a couple comments coming in from Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson saying that a joint announcement by Oman and Iran is in the final stage if certain third parties do not interfere. Also, just a couple of moments ago, we had another comment coming in saying that the Iran-Oman agreement in itself, quote unquote, does not mean that the strait is secure. It cannot guarantee the Strait of Hormuz shipping safety due to the U.S. naval blockade and other actions against Iran. And that's all. Just Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson also saying the joint announcement by Oman and Iran is in the final stage. Other parties do not intervene.
Thank you so much, Sia. Already, Assassino, the chat's coming in fast, furious from one of my favorite people in the chat, Kisha frickin' Perkins, small cap trader extraordinaire. JLHL has the most potential today, in my opinion, room to 1783. Then, Joey, the light price of 41.89. Tagging you, myself, we're halted right now, as the Katina man mentioned. 1435 options, man. 1440. So we're slated to open a little bit lower. 1485 was the halt price.
All right, guys. VinFast reported strong Q2 momentum, delivering more than 70,000 EVs globally, up 96% year over year. First half deliveries reached nearly 129,000 vehicles, up 78%, reinforcing the company's growth trajectory across its expanding EV portfolio. By mid-year, VinFast had already achieved approximately 43% of both its 2026 4W and 2W two-wheel drive delivery targets, putting the company firmly on track across growth engines. Fantastic stuff. Yeah, I mean, Sharif, you're definitely right. You mentioned to me not too long ago, maybe we take a look at a couple of the small cap names. But first things first, let's hop in and see what we got going on here today. Now, SpaceX, SSPC, this is the inverse ETF, guys, 2 leverage. Listen, I'm like, okay, let's see how we react today. I know we started the session off negative due to the gap down off of the reports yesterday. So I'm like, all right, let's see if we're going to break down and it kind of be an all-day fader. That wasn't necessarily the case. So anyways, aside from that, I feel like we were peaking above the volume-weighted average price. Obviously, this is inverse. So what we do is we get involved, we enter, and then I'm like, okay, pull back. I really want to double my size here. And that's what we did. I was looking for the volume-weighted average price, but then the weak hands, Devin Haney over here, 101. I was like, oh, you know what? Let's get out of this. And thankfully we did. We locked in some nice, a nice bit of profit on this one, but this was the ideal target for me. And unfortunately, we didn't have the ability to obtain that and achieve that. Now, as for the NASDAQ TQQQs, guys, we took a loss on that one, and we were just, I was looking for a big-time rebound, and I held it at the break of the low of the day, and then it just continued to sell off. So I'm glad we got out, but we took a hefty hit.
Give me my money, man.
Giving back the majority of our losses right here.
It's ripping up. We got 14.19. I just took out 15s. Watch out for the flush through 14. Here we go again. We're going to take out a little bit more here. Watch out through the flush out. Wow, what a move down. Holy cows. So that was an aggressive move. There was a 14.07 buyer of note. 13.10 limit down. Watch out, 13.10 limit down. So there was a 14.07 buyer there. And as soon as this opened, I was looking, I'm like, all right, where are the buyers going to step in? He's stepping in again. So let's watch out. Let's see if he can backstop the flush, because what a move down that was. That move from $15.39 to $13 in one fell swoop. So let's see if the 14 here holds. Continuing to watch, looking for a 14 hold. There's generally a 14 hold here, but where do you put your stop? Right? Like, because you have a 13 candle bar low. So that makes it tricky here. While I mull that over, we're going to send you to Sia.
USO climbing here again a little bit. Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson saying that exchanging views with Pakistan and Qatar right now. But we also had another source on the Israeli negotiating team saying that Israeli ambassador Yekil later asked the U.S. to suspend talks after repeated selective leaks by the Lebanese delegation. This is coming according to a news source that the Israeli ambassador Yekil Litter has asked U.S. to suspend talks after repeated selective leaks by the Lebanese delegation.
Oh, wow. This is ripping again. We're back in, man. Oh, my Lanta. Oh, here we go. 15. We got 14, 13, Joey. And I don't like getting 13s. 15 we go. Up into 15 again. Resistance at 15. That's been the case since I started watching this, looking for a move, and a decisive move at that, above 15. Let's see where the buyers step in here. Back down into the third of a dollar, 62 buyer. Let's see if we can ascend into 69 we go. I'm just gonna put something a little bit north of 15, then one a little bit much more north. Let's see if we can kind of get that, Joey. 80 seller, so no closing prints on the 5 or the 1. Above 15, and there it goes, 15.20. Looking for 25s, no continuation. So a 20 seller on JLHL keeps us from ascending. So I'm going to try to pack the patience here as much as we can to see if we can get an aggressive price spike up. Take out that 20 seller, Joe.
All right, good stuff. I got my eyes on it as well, too. Just waiting for the tape to tell me when to engage on this bad boy, just in case we get that next wave of participants stepping in and pushing us all the way to that $16 marker. Yeah, this thing's, hey, man, I got to be patient and wait for this tape to tell me exactly what I'm looking for. I'll pull it up for you momentarily, but again, you're playing a game of seconds and inches here. Every penny counts, right? So you want to be really precise, especially when I'm trying to play that break into a specific zone. So let's keep our eyes on it and on the tape. Oh, there it went. There it is. See, typing it in, man. No. Let's go. All right, there we go. We'll take that, Sharif, for
There
what
we
it is.
go, bro. There we go.
I mean,
There
it's
we
not what I
go.
wanted, man. I'm putting it in here. I wanted that 15 push, but anyways, aside from that, we'll take it for what it is, a little scalp. Now I'm going to be more patient. I'm not going to chase this. It wasn't anything crazy, nor was it what I wanted. But hey, it's better than nothing, and we won't overly complain about that. Now, as for the SPY and the NASDAQ, listen, we've been on a monster run over the past couple of days, and I think I'm not surprised from what we're seeing. We haven't even had a complete breakdown. Things cool off a little bit, right? We had 4% at the highs, around almost 5% on NVDA, and then the NASDAQ had like back-to-back 3% plus sessions. So let's just be patient and wait for some high quality up. There it goes, pushing into 16 once again. Oh man, yeah, this is a pretty good one here. I wonder where some levels could potentially be on this bad boy as we now run into it. We'll keep our eyes on the tape to see if there it is, 16, there it is. Bang,
16,
nice
14
move.
limit up. Sorry, I just have to
go
announce
ahead.
that. No, I just gotta let everybody know what the limit up is, brother. I don't mean to interrupt you. It's just because I know you don't put the halt bands on your.
Yeah, I don't have the halt bands on there. So yeah, we'll see, man. That was a nice little move. Would have liked it at 1492, but that's not the case nor the scenario we're sitting in. How deep is this pullback going to be? That's my next question. Now we'll wait for some other moves to the south side if there is going to be any, and then maybe we'll look for another continuation because you can see the strength. Look at the difference between the weaker candles and the stronger ones. So with that being said, for me personally, I like it for a couple more attempts on the long side. So NASDAQ and SPY, I'm not in love with any of the large caps right now. I was looking at a potential fade here on SpaceX via SPCX, which we already had a nice little trade on it. It's on the AMIX, actually, SPCX. So maybe we'll just go back to the ones that have been working for us. We have JLHL on our side chart here, and we have SpaceX as well too.
All right, 15 general area support. Watching the 5-second chart on my top screen, looking for that general halt level in and around 15 to hold. So we have top wick for now through 16, but I don't think that's the end of the matter. Continuing to watch here. There are others. YXT is continuing to go as well, but goodness, I mean, it's going to halt in. Ah, wow, bro. The small caps are lit today. Be careful because, you know, usually day 2, day 3, we sometimes get some aggressive pullbacks. Continuing to watch JLHL hang around 15. I don't want to do anything quite yet. Dropping in a $0.75. This one descends while YXT ascends. Is that halted? It is halted. 15 freaking 95 on YXT, and that is the #1 gapper in the market right now. Up a light, and not so big. Don't even turn your neck right now. 513%. Watching here, 15 getting reclaimed. Looking for a seller to step in. Just to see if there's going to be bamboozlement here. Back above 15 we go, but it's a zig and zag party, a little above, a little bit below. Let's see what we get here. I don't want to jump in quite yet on JLHL. 1506 buyer. Okay, dropping down into 1494. Yeah, just continuing to watch here. Nothing for me to do. This is quite consolidative. It's sideways price action right now. I'm not saying it's going to tank or anything, but I'm just saying that right now it is a little undecided. 1450 local area support. If this loses 1450, I leave this one for a second and allow it to set up again, possibly around 14. There is a flat top that was brewing on the 5-second chart around 14. But here we are. Pretty close to that 1450 area low. Let's see if we can hold it. Right now, we have a flat bottom of sorts around 1450 with lower highs. You have that 1614 area high, and then you have 1525 area high. And now we're right back down into 14.75. So let's keep a close eye on this one. I have nothing to do quite yet until I see a little bit more. Let's put in YXT on this screen over here. Get a gander of what the tap is over on YXT. Is this on the NQ? Yeah. Tap is an eye-watering $20 freaking dollars. This halted at $50.95. We're going to open up about $4 higher, give or take. Now, the halt time is 11:12:18. Current time, 11:14:35. So nothing for me to do for a few minutes here on YXT. I'll keep you guys apprised of the tap. Sorry, guys. I see the tags. I see the mentions. It's just, you know, when we're in this kind of crazy sort of halt fest sort of, I got to really concentrate right now on these ones. And don't forget, INLF is taking out 7.5, 775 now on INLF, 860 high. That one's also moving. Oh boy. I feel it's going to be one of those days, brother.
You think so?
Yeah, look, they're all moving pretty aggressively right now. So this is going to be one of those days.
Yeah, hey man, we're here and we're ready. We're ready for this. So I'm looking for a potential second entry here on SpaceX. I do like the look of the price action from the 1 and the 5 minute. Some topping tail signals here. So 1930, maybe we'll get involved. And then also that just gives us confirmation and where our out is. All right, so about 15 cents of risk. If it breaks that level, then you just get out of dodge and then you look for a re-entry if it does display itself. See ya.
Yeah, keep an eye out here. MSOS, the advisor shares for pure cannabis, U.S. cannabis falling here. White House lobbying Congress is to delay intoxicating hemp ban provision tucked into the spending bill. This is coming according to the New York Times. It is dropping. There was a high volume spike right now. Currently, I'm just going to check the levels for this, down 6.4% on the day. White House lobbying Congress will be delaying intoxicating hemp ban provision tucked into the spending bill, coming according to the New York Times.
All right, yeah, we have the Canadian $2 here. How is the options level looking on ELF? Guys, you can see that we're long SSPC. From 1934. Let's see if we can get a little bit more of a move as the NASDAQ almost puts in a new low of the day. Let's pull up ELF. How are the options looking? We can figure that out here immediately, right away. Anything for you, my folks. And it's $2 Canadian, so...
I'll do it.
Okay. Since you talk about when you want to get on the priority list there, Shree, drop a couple snow pesos in there, and then you're
I like the snow peso reference.
All right, guys, let's see what we got going on. Hey, man, it's tough to say. Like, some of these names aren't hyper liquid, right? So it makes it a little bit more difficult to find where you're going to have the larger participants, because this could be any average bloke right here with putting on that interest. Just in great noise stuff. So anyways, aside from that, here it is expiring this Friday, guys. And to the individual, sorry, I missed your name. If we can pull that super chat.
I can tell you, Joey. His name is JX184.
JX184. I mean, here it is, 80. You got that positive gamma exposure, and here you have the negative gamma, but that's already in the money. So next level would be $100, and this is a name that we obviously we don't talk about quite often, or maybe not enough. But ELF, nothing outstanding really, except for the 2 strike prices that I just brought to you. So we're gonna wait and add some more. I would like to double up this position, Sharif, just in case we do happen to get that move back in towards the volume weighted average price. Then we're really rocking and rolling on today's session, that's for sure. JLHL starting to pull back in a little bit, but it's not breaking down aggressively. I like the look of that.
I like the look of JLHL's jib. Look, there's many jibs today that we can be looking at. Two of them are halted. Thank you, Tisha frickin' Perkins. ZYBT halted to the upside. It is up a respectable, where is it? Show yourself, ZYBT. Sorry, guys, ZYBT. Up 90 2/3%, halted at 244. Keep your eye on that. YXT also halted. INLF about to take out 8 again. JLHL, as Joey Opsh just mentioned, still holding. And I want to show the tap here because it's back down to $20 on YXT, but I saw it moments ago. It was at $25, now showing $19.99. So keep your eye out on this one as we get closer to the opening time, which we have passed now in terms of a 5-minute halt. So at the earliest, YXT will be open 11/22/18. It will not be open earlier than that. It could be open later because these volatility halts, if you're a newer trader, especially the small caps, they come in waves of 5 minutes, right? So you're always adding 5, 10, 15 to the halt time. Simple. So continuing to watch here, JLHL. There goes INLF. Sorry, I'm going to be all over the map today. Through 815. The squeeze is on right now on INLF. 860 high. It's showing 818. I can't quite see what the limit up is. I think it's one of those windows where I'm going to have to fix this window, dude, because my halt bands don't show up here. Jeez Louise, Joey, what am I going to do here, man? Everything is moving. I can't concentrate on one thing. JLHL was about to take out 15 again, so I was looking at that, but I also have to get into INLF here. As it comes to 850, it's an 860 high, but there were no closing prints above 850. 833 on now. We're showing a halt parameter at 832. I can't tell if this is going to halt or not because I don't have the halt bands on the screen. But it looks like 832 is limit up here on INLF. Oh, my Lanta. It is one of those days we're halted on INLF into 832. We are still below the day high right now. The day high is 860. We're about 30 pennies lowered. And Casey, 520 freaking 6, as she always does. Magnanimous is this woman gifting 5 Trader TV Live memberships to Tyler, Glenvester UK, JV Man, Tisha Perkins. No, you already had one, Jay. Joni W Gaming and Jerry Woods. All y'all got a free memby, premium memby, thanks to the lovely KC526, Joey.
Good stuff. So yeah, so what I got going on here is, and I'm not in love with this, but I just pretty much hedged myself, and I don't like it. So as we climb higher in SpaceX, right, as synthetically I'm short, and then I'm long the NASDAQ. So it's a push and pull against myself. So I'm just like moving. I'm not really moving anywhere. And we talked about getting out of this as soon as we crack that level. And there we go. You got a new high of the day almost in SpaceX. And that's going to be our final attempt. Like, I don't want to, like, what we've seen over the past couple of sessions is that these grinding days are where you're just trying to look for that move back in towards the volume weighted average price or whatever it may be doesn't typically happen. And I don't want to get stuck just continuously forcing something. I believe we put ourselves in the right position at the right time. So if this doesn't want to break down and head back into view up, I'm not going to try and fight it. And what we can see from a 5-minute time frame, it looks like we want to go and test that 116.48 high. So with that being said, let's get out of dodge on this one and just, accept our losses for what it is. And then if the NASDAQ really starts, the TQs trade really starts to work for us, then we just hammer it pretty heavy. Or if these names don't want to cooperate either, I have no issues with heading over into small cap land, looking for some high quality opportunities. Let's see if NVDA wants to go back and test that high. We talked about that $220 marker bright and early this morning. That came into play. We even moved higher, 222.42. Well, guess who bought some more? Yeah, that's right. You guessed that right for sure, Sharif. There it goes. Brand new high of the day on SpaceX. I'm glad that we got out of that one here, Sharif. Otherwise, that would have been absolutely disastrous as we just absolutely skyrocket. Not much of an influence on what we're seeing on the NASDAQ right now, but nonetheless, I'm looking to add a little bit more.
Sorry, just give me one second here. Just
no
in
worries,
position
man.
with JLHL.
Check out ARM above VWAP, SpaceX moving up. Yeah, that's why we got out, right? Like I told you guys, this is why it's so important to stick to your outs. Look where we happen to just say, hey, man, we're not going to be fighting this, especially considering your risk to reward is good. So you have to take this into consideration, just the fact that it's like, all right, if we're giving this key pivot and out, our target is going to be the volume weighted average price, and that's like a 4 or 5 to 1. That wasn't necessarily the case as it tanks, and that's why imagine holding through this. You just made your loss 10 times bigger than what you actually needed it to be. So that's why we got out. That 110 long on SpaceX, as discussed. Yeah, you like the 110 long, Katina, man? It's looking pretty good, man, especially as the volume is really starting to uptick over there. Now, as for the TQQs, listen, it's pretty weak here today, and we've been on some big runs, as I stated not too long ago. Now, where are we going to get this move to? VWAP would be the ideal target, but I think that might be a little bit of a stretch, and I might be asking for much. So 74.80, hey, man, you know what I do. We don't ask for much, but we'll ask for the most when we do. And if that's the case, let's see if we can get up into 74.80, and then this would be the ultimate target, but I think I might be asking for a little bit. That might be a stretch. Now, yeah, see, that's the thing here. We don't stand a chance. If this name wants to break down and you can see this this shelf starting to form, we don't stand a chance in the long on the NASDAQ. But there are so many stars aligning that the reason why I took this is like, look at this. This is the largest volume print since we've seen 30 minutes ago. And then sure enough, you're below VWAP with this. So, I mean, hey, you have to pull the trigger regardless if it works or not.
All right, I'm trying my hand here at ZYBT. I want to give this to 3. So in here at 29, showing me 19, so we're out of the money on this one. But it did gap up pretty aggressively from the halt price into over 275. So kind of some consolidation right now happening right around 3 mid-teens, but we are stair-stepping down. There is a sell. They were selling at 25s. Now they're selling at 20s, and it's dropping down incrementally. So I'm looking for whether or not there's going to be a buyer to step in at 3 so I can add into this position at around the whole dollar. 307, it's going to fail. It feels like, let's see if their buyer steps in. There's no really big buyer stepping in at around the whole dollar over here. So let's see if there is one, hopefully, coming in sooner rather than later. Up into 13s we go, 14s, no continuation. Keeping an eye, of course, on INLF as that one is open now. 909 high, nope. ZYBT is going to fail. We're going to have to get out of that, so we'll give back a little bit there. So prior bar low is 275. So I want to see if I can possibly get back into ZYBT and give it to 275 because it's right back above 3. So continuing to watch. Let's see what this one has. It's right back above 3. I just want to put the 5-second chart on my top screen over here to see where the trend is. No, the trend is still negative on this one. So I want to ride the trend to the high side. So we're putting in lower highs and lower lows right now on the 5-second chart. So I want to see when, until that flips, I don't want to get in here, okay? So let's hang out. Let's see what happens. Nope. 290s an area low. Looks like we're about to fail that. We're failing that right now. Into the 80s we go, so nothing for me to do. Now the halt price open was 275. So there could be a dip trade around there. However, it's still a downtrend. I haven't seen anything positive here. INLF is ripping up my days. 948 on INLF. Keep your eye out on that one, as that one's certainly not on a downtrend. Well, it just pulled back a little bit right now. Let's send you back to Sia. She's got news.
Market falling right now. The SPY is currently having a bit of a downtake. Israel and several Gulf nations are holding talks to promote alternative solutions for exporting oil and gas through routes that bypass the Strait of Hormuz and the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. This is coming from certain news outlets over here. I'm just going to check USO levels right now. Yeah, nothing too crazy, but the market did drop a little bit. Israel and several Gulf countries are holding talks to promote alternative solutions for exporting oil and gas through routes that bypass the Strait of Hormuz and the Bab el-Mandeb Strait.
Thank you very much, Sia. Great call out there. We're doing okay here for the moment. That could change at any moment here on ZYBT. It's all over the map. So we got into that 3. We have the almost local area high through 340. Let's see if this holds up. Seller at 22.30. There it is again. Seller there. Looking for a little bit more. Nice move on this one now. Let's see if we can get a little bit higher because we're holding trend, right? Even though, you know, we're zigging and zagging, the trend is still intact. This current candle has higher lows and has higher highs. I'm always talking about the 5, unless I mention that it is the 1. So I'm going to have to pack my patience here, but I do see a sell coming in at around the $0.25. It's the same seller who keeps recycling their short position. Even though they get blown out, they put it back in. In the 40s we go. Can we see 50s? There's nothing coming in at 50, Joey. In fact, I'm going to put in a liquidity tester at 49s to see if we can get up there. Into 35, 38. Nope, nothing popping off. They're selling at almost every level, right? So you're not getting that big squeeze where we're, you know, pushing people out of the way. There's 40, ascending nicely, but no continuation. Let's see how many shares we have left. Okay, we'll take from that. 40, 42, 44, 45, 49 into the high of the day. Limit up. Limit up is 84. Boom! Into the limit up, baby. 384 limit freaking up on ZYBT, which is now 200% up on the day. We're halted. 384, tap, 420, halt time, 11:28:51. Get it. Ooh, my Lanta. Looking good here, Joey.
Yeah, Gorev. So again, what I'm seeing here on the tape is that every time we get a pop-up into certain levels, right, it's immediately rejected. And the way that the price action, so here's the SPY and here's the NASDAQ, channel down, trend down, and it's not breaking and just continuously rejects. And I have maybe a little bit too much size on this. So if it breaks that, we're going to be in a world of trouble, and I have to get out considering I added to the position. If we don't sit on the backside of this trend, then we might be in a little bit of trouble. trouble, but nothing that I don't believe we can get out. But see, here it is. Okay, so I want to pull up. Never mind me looking at these delayed charts. So what I want to pull up here and display is keep your eye on the tape and what's happening in the price action. So every time you run into the top end of this channel, it's immediately it's immediately met by some form of defense, right? So watch, you get this uptick at 74.40, and then watch the time in sales as you have the defense and the algos kick in and push price a little bit lower. See, clean flush. So every uptick is getting met. So what we need to see is a break of the level, and then sure enough, if we have the ability, you want to see some strong price action filtered through this tape. And right now, it's not really happening as we continuously get rejected at this zone.
I'm just going to mention one quick thing.
Go ahead.
Guys, YXT's halted down. So it did pop up into 2089, and it just limit down 1709. Just before we go up to the big desk, halt time, 11:30.14. Earliest open, 11:35.14. Tap, showing 16.57. So about 50 some odd pennies below where we just halted, guys. Let's send you up to the big desk with Adara and Juan for the Euro close.
Time to talk about the European markets and what they did this session. It is 11:30, so these markets just officially closed. Let's break down some of the biggest movers and biggest stories and watch with Juan.
Thank you, Adara. So intraday highs in the European markets before fizzling out towards the end of the day. We see the Stoxx 600 up marginally by about 0.16%. They touched intraday peaks by nearly around the 659 mark before consolidating near the record ground. Over in Germany, the only laggard today down by marginally, just below 0.02%. Earnings seasons, of course, in full swing in Germany. We got Siemens Energy rose marginally on strong Q3 revenue as well as profit. However, Infineon, the index worst performer, they dropped by over 5% today, missing high margin expectations despite record revenue as well as a raised full year outlook. So that's one to look out for tomorrow as well. Deutsche Post fell by also more than 2% despite beating their earnings as well as expanding their share buyback program. Over in France, the June industrial output grew by about 0.1% month on month, missing the 0.3% expected expansion, but also recovering from the previous month's decline. In terms of stocks, industrial stocks led the gains, like Airbus up by around 1%, Safran up by about 1.5%. However, luxury stocks led the declines, with Louis Vuitton down nearly 2% and Hermes down by 1.5%. In the United Kingdom, corporate earnings still also in focus, lifting the index. We've got Next surging by more than 6% after raising its full year profit guidance again. Glencore also gained by about 4% on an 86% year-over-year jump in adjusted profit, while Coca-Cola climbed more than 4% following strong first half earnings as well as sales and upgraded revenue growth outlook. So main story from the European region, we've got some economic bulletin updates from the European Central Bank. They noted that geopolitical tensions cut the Eurozone growth by about 0.4% over the past year. However, massive corporate investments in AI has been shielding the economy from deeper deceleration. So watch for fixed income repositioning tomorrow, especially easing yields that will support the tech and growth equities based on this commentary. And also watch out, I mentioned earlier about Infineon. Watch if there's any follow through on that reaction, anyone catching the buy the dip bid, as well as the mining sector in the European region up by 2.4%. So let's hope that maintains momentum on rising global copper metrics.
AI investment, an international story. We'll probably hear a little bit more about AI at 3:30 p.m. with One, where we talk about the Asian markets. You can check out these segments every day we're here. In the meantime, we'll send you back over to the Midday.
Fantastic stuff. Juan, thank you,
Juan.
my brother. Yeah, exactly. All right, let's see, Gaurav. This is going to be key. We want to see some follow through for sure on this move, as we had NVDA really punch through the volume weighted average price. I thought this shelf would give away a little bit, but hey, if we creep any higher, then that'll help fuel this little fire that we got going to the top side. And we got this trend line, 5-minute candle on the back side of this trend. give us some breathing room, and then we're ready to continuously rock and roll on this bad boy. Hey, aim for 75. You don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but again, that defense most definitely stepping in as SpaceX is starting to come back in. AMD doing the exact same thing. See, so hectic. Pricey, really choppy price action, man. Yeah, I think, you know what, I'm going to stick to what I believe. I do believe that what I'm seeing on the tape is correct. I don't know. I could be wrong. Things can change really quick, but if we don't get a rebound and a punch through the supply zone relatively quick, and also on this 5-minute candle, this is, I mean, that's not exactly what we want to see here, is all this selling pressure really start to step back in. But let's give it time, like you said, my brother, and then sure enough, time will tell, as it does for the majority of things in life. So.
All right, man. We're in ZYBT again. We're taking prints through 4. It's a new high, day 403. 399 seller, aggressive seller at the whole dollar. Not surprised about that. Looking for a break here through the level. Willing to defend as well, but definitely need to see a little bit more, especially buyers stepping in a little bit more aggressively than they are at the moment. So continuing to watch 92. Oh, my Lanta. There it goes into 09s, 10s, 18s. They took out all my orders. ZYBT into the high 418. Can't see what limit up is. I have to change the screen. So let's go ahead. Post at 425.19 showing up here. Big seller at around the 20 penny area. Watch for a flush and a lot. Oh, my Lanta. There we go again. 431 limit up on this one. We got 84s here. Looking for a little bit more. Let's see if we can get up into the $half area. And you'll notice I actually had a dip trade there that went unfilled. 443 now limit up. Yeah, 443 limit up. I stop out if it loses 4. Simple as that. There we go. We're out. It lost 4. I'm gone Zeno on that one. Oh, bro, this is already it's too much. All this stuff is moving pretty aggressively here. Down goes ZYBT into 3 3/4. Continuing to watch. Let's see if the buyers step in. Looking at the 5-second chart up top. Certainly, you know, a buyer of note in and around the Halt area, which was 82s, I believe. So you're going to get price spikes down like you just did into 70, but it's quick to resume. Now, what I don't want to see is the local area low getting lost. That local area low is 369. So if 369 goes here, I think we'll have to set up again. 73 showing up. We could lose it. There's a buyer here at 73. Down goes Fraser into 69. But it holds up, ironically enough, into 75. Again, we go. So that same buyer at 69 showing up, but not showing up enough to push this through 4. So going to continue to watch this one. We'll see what we get. Not doing anything. But look at this one, Joey. Like, I mean, I wasn't even asking for that many shares, my boy. Like, look at that partial right there. I wasn't even asking for too much right there, man.
You gotta. Where's Michael?
Blame Michael. Come on, Joey. This guy, bro. Oh, my Lanta. Grunfeld, KRTR just took $2. Grunfeld, you animal. I love it. Get it, Grunfeld. KLTR. Let's see what Grunfeld's looking at, man. I'm scared to look away from these charts because they just move so quickly. This is a great look, brother. KLTR. I already have it on the side chart, actually. I just have said very little about it. I'm going to continue to watch ZYBT here because it's working its way back into 4. It found some support at that 369, 370 area. Now it's knocking on the door of 4 again, showing 95s. So let's see if we can kind of weasel in. Now you could do a couple of things here. You can get in here at the kind of the midpoint in the price and then give it to like maybe 59 or mid 60s, just so you're not getting stop hunted at the local area low through 69, right? With a view here for a reclaim of 4. And that, you know, you risk a decent amount here. I would say about 20 pennies to possibly make like 50 or 60. I can't quite see what the limit up is here is. But it just continues to see some selling into that 369 area. We're there right now, showing 73. So, yeah, too consolidative for me to feel confident that this is going to be the breakout above 4. But here we go again. My God. My God, bro. There's a lot of action here, Joey. I don't know where the hell to look. What are you looking at, brother?
I'm looking at the same thing here, man. Just feeling a little Slim Shad's palms are definitely sweaty over here. No, I'm being sarcastic. No, we're just looking for it, man. I mean, we already had a couple of volume-weighted average price moves. Now, this would be ideal. Like, this would be a grand slam if we have the ability to hold this through to the volume weighted average price. But again, if these names don't want to move in tandem, then I'm like, oh, what am I even doing here? But things aren't looking too bad right now. This is a key supply zone. You can see that we've tested this on multiple occasions. And I don't want to pull the trigger too quick because a break through this level and we head to that next zone. But see, this is what I'm talking about. If you pay attention to the details, every time we run into it, it's just met by a wave of defense. So eventually one side of the battle is going to win, right? Who's it going to be, the Bears or the Bulls? You take over, you have someone take their foot off the gas, and then sure enough, that'll give the other party room to really start going. See, look at the strength on the ask, and we're just not getting those strong upticks. But anyways, aside from that, just micromanaging this position. Yeah, see, coming right back in, guys. Pay attention to this stuff. This is what I'm talking about. So 74.67. Clearly acting as a resistance zone. We have SpaceX heading back in towards VWAP, and we're pulling back in a little bit here on NVDA. So let's keep an eye out on that. SMH and Stoxx approaching. Need a break of those lower highs. Yeah, man, we need a steady break here. See, Gorb, I don't know, man. This isn't looking too good for me, but as long as this holds, I think that's going to be your definitive out. If we can have that 5-minute candle sit on the back side of things, then I think the story can be a little bit different. But are we going over to the desk there? All right, let's send it over.
You keep an eye out on USO, not a major move here, but CNN reporting a senior Gulf official statement saying that there's a 50-50 chance that Iran will reach a deal on the Strait of Hormuz by Friday. CNN reporting that there is a 50-50 chance that Iran will reach a deal on the Strait of Hormuz by Friday. This is comments coming from a senior Gulf official.
All right, yeah, I mean, better late than never, I guess. But yeah, here it is, guys. Same thing, coming back in off of that level. SpaceX moving lower, NVDA. Let's head over to our watch list and see what we got going on here. Where the top names are up 3 3/4%.
Get it, Katina, man.
Yeah, that's moving lower. Google, yeah, we were just a little bit too early on that SpaceX. It's just liquidity grab and then started to head a little bit lower, drastically increasing the risk to reward. So down 8% here on that one. Microsoft moving lower. Amazon doing the exact same thing. So this isn't helping us whatsoever in regards to the triple Qs long. Broadcom at VWAP, and then we have Tesla not doing anything crazy, but that might not be a bad signal for a potential long over there as well. Palantir putting up a monstrous day yesterday, running into, okay, that's a big time move. 166, pulling back a little bit, but still holding up to some key levels.
INLF. Here we go. We got O2s. Here comes the $0.50. We're looking for a breach here of the $0.50, guys. 47. There's 55. We're looking for 69, Ozan. Need you to punch. There goes into, I think, 57s. Good look here for INLF. Still have some unfilled orders, and anything through 8 ends the trade for me immediately. I'm looking for a bigger move up here, man. I want to see 9s. And we're definitely getting a lot of resistance repetitively at the $0.33 in the same way that we are now. This seller has been targeting the $0.33 quite a bit, okay? It keeps setting up, even though he gets clipped on the way up, he sets up again at the $0.33. So here we are showing the $0.25, the $0.05, no continuation. Gonna have to keep my eye on this one. There it is into 30s. Again, look at this guy, bro. He sets 33, 34. It's the same seller coming in at the same price. Now, who wins, right? Who's got more money? Who's got more conviction? So that's what I'm a market observer, not a market mover. So continuing to watch here. Let's see a decided move above the $0.50. We're definitely not getting that. So I'm just going to go ahead and wet the beak here, lest we drop and, give back some here. So I'm just going to continue to watch to see either I get stopped out through the break of 8 or we take out 8.5. And then, I'll be looking to possibly even add into this position like a psycho. But for now, I don't do anything, right? Kind of at the midpoint here. There's nothing for me to do, just to watch to see who's going to win out this battle, because basically there's an equilibrium right now between buyers and sellers as we're in a bit of a consolidative state. 40 showing up again, 38s, but no continuation through 50. Look at that. Keeps doing the same thing. Now, a lot of buy orders coming in showing 40s. We need that big buyer to step in and kind of just decimate some of these sellers here. Sellers or short sellers, whatever. But we're definitely not getting it. 45, 60, it didn't print me, man. I was waiting at 69. There's 60 again. And there is 69, and there it goes into a local area high. We're looking for more now. We're looking for 9s. Let's go ahead, set up that 888s, okay? And then we're going to wait at 905. We're going to wait north of 9 to test liquidity there. Let's see if we can get 8s. We haven't got 88s quite yet. 73, 72 showing up, looking for a bigger move through the 4/5 of a dollar. And then we're looking for the whole dollar here breach. Hence why I set up at 905. But doesn't look like it's going to do it in a straight line. Continuing to watch here, the 70-ish seller step in. And yeah, so at least we're riding the right trend. So now we can see where the seller's coming in. He's coming in the low 70s. My goodness, pushing it right back to the 30s. We got to hold the half dollar here, man. We definitely need to hold the half dollar as a local area of support, and we're definitely not doing that. We're dipping on the bid into the third of a dollar. The ask does stay most of the time above the half dollar, but the spread opens up when that happens, and that, you know, creates a little bit of trouble. So I'm just going to continue to watch this, Joey, and we're going to see if we can kind of beat through some of the sellers here at the half dollar.
All right, man, there it goes. Yeah, so I put on a 3-minute time frame. Yeah, we have to get out. I don't think this one's going to rock and roll for us here today. So what I'll look for is kind of, I'll take one more attempt, but you can see we go 0 for 2 on this. And I mean, we'll take our at bat, right? So we'll take 3 swings. So once things start to turn around, maybe it just needs to absorb a little bit more liquidity. But this is what I was referring to not too long ago. It's just that we sat on it for a couple of minutes, but we didn't have the ability to hold. Now, I'm not going to allow it to continuously fake me out, but it's not looking overly strong here today. Some good sessions, right? So expect a little bit choppier of some price action, and that's totally fine. So back-to-back, really, really strong days, and today starting to cool down a little bit, and you can see punch through VWAP, but then we started to head lower a little bit. So, I mean, it is what it is, and it's not good. It's not great, but I mean, it's not horrible either. So SSPC, see what we can. Maybe we have to roll over to small cap land. So this is what I'm thinking. So let's compare the charts, right? So I go long here. This is SSPC inverse SpaceX, and this is the TQQs. Now we get stopped out. If it turns around one more time, I'm not going to allow what happened here on SpaceX, because if you get back in at the lower end of the range, look at the risk to reward. So the market will play those games on you, is where, okay, yeah, you go long or you go short, and then it's like, all right, yeah, never mind. Let's just kind of phase everyone out and then just go back to where it was before, and then you eventually run into your targets. So we'll be patient and wait for another opportunity to enter back on the NASDAQ if it does display itself, all right? So, yeah, other than that, man, I'm just relaxing, looking for some high-quality opportunities, whether they come long or not.
Chilling out, maxing. Right by
Chilling out
school.
by
And when a couple of guys that were up to no good, they started making trouble in my neighborhood. I got in one little fight. My mom got scared. She said, "You're moving with your auntie and uncle in Bel Air." All right, man, let's have a good time here. I'm out. INLF, limit down. It's halted. Now, sorry, guys. We're looking at ZYBT. We're looking for a move above 375. So this candle here is jokes, because it's engulfed the red candle prior to it. So I'm talking about the 1145 candle on ZYBT relative to the 1140 candle. We have a high on this candle, 370, a low of 302. Prior bar high is 356 and a low of 310. So entirely engulfed, right? And now we're getting basically a seller in and around 60 to a half here. So just want to pack the patience on ZYBT. I've got ZYBT up on the 5-second chart. I'd like a nice move above 375. That takes out local area sellers. And it's also a previous area of support, that 370 area. So now it looks like it's being recycled as resistance, which is okay, right? That's what we look for this kind of, I don't know, what am I saying here? For the technicals to hold up in the way that we anticipate. Resistance becomes support and vice versa. So continuing to watch here. If we get a move above 370, I'm likely going to punch back into this one, but we don't have that quite yet. Love that show, Prince of Toronto. Yeah, right, brother. But it was like one of my after-school specials, man, growing up, right? You come home, you don't want to do any homework, right? You just smash Prince of Bel Air, which was always on some cable network. But that is it. Having a good time here, guys. Love sharing with you guys. Looks like you guys are having a good day as well. Shout out to Tisha. I think Tisha's calling it a day. She's printed up multiple storms on some of these names, and she's out. But we got Casey. I don't know where Bovin is. Bovin was messaging me earlier while I was at the gym, and he's like, INLF, and he said another one. I agreed on INLF, but the other one I was like, right? So hopefully Bovin will be here sooner rather than later, and then we can get, you know, the what are those? The customary booms that take up 4 or 5 lines. You gotta love that, man. What are you looking at, Joe?
Yeah, so I added again. We tried it again, man. That's it. We struck out here on the Nasdaq. Tried it one more time. A couple good signals displaying themselves, and then sure enough, now we're on the brink of elimination. So we have to be really cautious on. Not yet, but we're pretty damn close. So I mean, when you just push here, it doesn't work out, and it comes back again. So you have to be prepared to get out. And I was like, yeah, you're not getting me today, because when you do fight it, watch, boom, it might go here now, and if it does, man, dirty dog. All right, what are we gonna look at here? I mean, a couple small W's and we're right back in it. So I don't have too much going on. I believe it's that lunch hour, so we have to be patient and wait for some good quality opportunities. Now, what's Robinhood? A lot of people were screaming Robinhood this morning, saying that was going on a nice little ride. Yeah, it's a bit tougher of a look, without any question. This pullback, I think that's justifiable, and then maybe you can go a little bit higher, but it might be in limbo at this very moment. So Coinbase, we'll head over to our watch list. Apple, SpaceX still down. Is it going to bounce off of the volume-weighted average price? Who knows? This name not doing too bad here. So 4 strong days in a row, and then sure enough, I mean, I think at this pace, we're going to head this 236 high, which I'm going to be just continuously loading the boat on. It's been a lot of fun buying this stuff up. What's up, Michael Burry?
See what he said today?
No, what did he say?
He was basically saying, you know, he feels like there's a major top coming, and he's calling for a correction similar to the one that we got in 87. Was that Black Monday, boys? Like that 87 that he refers to there, was that Black Monday? We'll have to do some checking on that. Yeah, but he's awfully bearish at the moment. But he's been bearish for a hot minute, right?
No, he's short everything right now. I mean, all the big names, all of this kind of AI trade. So, hey, man. Yeah, it's their own. If you think that's coming, then by all means. When was the last time? I don't think this is the first time ever in history where we've had major corporations spending this amount of money on infrastructure. So if you want to go against that, then by all means, continue to do so. I'm going to try to go where the money is. And whether it works or not, all I can say is that I put myself, which I believe would be the right place in the right time.
All right, Joey. ZYBT took out the $0.75, so we're going to give this the old college try. It has to hold the $0.50 here, otherwise I'm out, right? It's about to lose a $0.50 here as we speak. So this one looks like it's going to be a little bit tough. Into 65 we go. Let's see if we can get some prints here in the high 60s, low 70s. Let me just throw out my stop on this one. Yeah, and there we go. So let's see if it can hold up. It doesn't look like it's holding up here, quite frankly. Seller at 57, looking for a price spike up into the high 60s, but we're getting selling almost at every level. So to me, I was looking for that 70 seller to get moved out of the way, right? Because that 70 seller was the one that was holding us up. So now it looks like, you know, possibly a bull trap here. We'll see if this one fails, but it does look like there are buyers stepping in somewhat here at the $0.50, preventing it from dropping, but I don't know how long that lasts for, especially since we're not making any local area highs. So the local area high is 381, I believe. So we'll have to kind of hold the area low into 340, and we'll have to take 380 out if we want to resume trend. And down goes into the 40s as it popped back up. Yeah, they're selling at the $0.50 now, so it looks like, yeah, once we lost that $0.50, the short stepped in pretty aggressively here, and down it goes, so we will give back a little bit there as we do get stopped out on ZYBT. Sucks, but hey, what are you going to do, man? You got to take these shots. I'm looking to see if that 40 seller buyer is going to step in again, because we had a 40 buyer there momentarily, but it's not curling up. Here's what I'm looking at, guys. This is the 5-second chart. So I was looking for this seller to get taken out at 70, which they did, right? So then I punched in there. I was looking for continuation in the 4, but we didn't see that continuation, which sucks. So let's see if the buyer at the $0.50 here who's hanging out continues to hang out, and maybe we can get another kind of breath to the high side here, Joey. That's what I'm looking at now.
All right, man. Good stuff. Yeah, Gorb, I mean, that's what happens. Hey, man, anything can happen. As long as that print holds up, then by all means, you're still in play. But again, I just had really, really tight risk on that one. It's fine. Managing risk is hell. Yeah, exactly. I mean, listen, your boy has a chip in a chair, 2 o'clock. Watch out, man. Things get real dangerous in this neck of the woods, obviously being sarcastic. But SSPC, let's see what we got going on there. Have a little sip of water. Cool. This was definitely the banger. If we held to that, man, we just mess around with a couple of small caps, little scalp here and there. But I started to push and kind of got a little bit greedy. And that's what happens, and then we'll flip back over. So I've only really traded 2 names today and 3 trades. But to add into this bad boy, it didn't work out for us. If we broke that and headed into 75, then it was a TQ's party, that's for sure. It's a party. And then this one, I'm glad that we got out because this could have been absolutely disastrous. No rebound. I think, you know what, Gorb, honestly, I'm just thinking wait till 2 o'clock, 2:30, maybe even before then. And if you happen to get some form of a truth or anything along those lines to boost what you have going on, then by all means, I think you'll be sitting in a good position. But you can see that what I was referring to earlier as key, like, beautiful, like the stars were aligning, right? This is exactly what we're trying to identify, but channel down just took over, and a little bit of the selling pressure, considering the run that we've been on for the past couple of days, just managed to overpower what we were thinking. So there's that. We looked at the memory names. How's DRAM doing today? Not too bad, man. A nice little snapback on this bad boy. Still 32% off of the highs. Nothing to get overly worried about, considering we were cut in half at one point. Western Digital holding onto some positivity. But see, this is the thing, right? So this is where I stand when it comes to this, considering that you have a bunch of individuals with regardless if you're leveraged or not, you can see the weakness, even though we are up 30% off of those lows. Each day is a little bit weaker than each green day is a little bit weaker than the weak ones, if that makes sense, than the selling days, which can add a little bit more of conviction that, hey, maybe we're not ready to completely recover yet. You'll have sellers step back in and hold some key levels. And I think that's going to be the narrative. Eventually it will find a rebound, but I think it's going to take a lot longer than what we're expecting to kind of get back to those all-time highs in some of these memory names, Sharif.
All right, guys, we're in a pullback state right now in almost all the big movers. ZYBT into 3. It's looking flat bottom breakish. You guys need to be careful with this one. I'm not saying it's going to flat bottom break, but it's putting lower highs with essentially a 3-ish bottom. So that kind of sets up for lower high, flat bottom break. Now, you can entirely change trend here, but what I'm seeing more often than not are lower highs as opposed to any higher highs. So keep your eye on the trend there. INLF open, it was just halted. It's above 7, it's above VWAP, but it's got a downtrend, so I'd be careful with this one as well. YXT still halted down. This one is really losing trend. 2089 is the high. We're halted at 1265, and the top is now showing 12. So things are coming in. They're coming in fast and furious to the downside. JLHL still hanging at 12 2/3, 12.5, but it's still a downtrend as well. It's got some higher lows, but I'd say that the lower highs are more operative at the moment. And if you're looking for a small cap, but you're not a big fan of these multiple halters and the speed at which they trade, look no further than KLTR. Shout out to Grunfeld. I think he's printing on this. It's a slower mover, but it's at a key level now. We got into $2 high a day, showing 97s, but it's been awfully respectful of trend. And the trend here, it can cut many different ways. Here's what I mean. Look at the pullbacks. They all hold up at the 10 EMA, but that's not exactly the only sort of trend that I can pick up. Look how it's stair-stepping up, holding structure as we call it. Look at that 185 resistance, then it clears it. It goes to about 96, comes back down, holds 85 as support. I like to see that stair-step up structure because it gives you a key area that you can say, well, if it fails this general area, I'm wrong. And that helps limit, obviously, your losses. So KLTR, for those who are interested, keep your eye on that one. But INLF is at VWAP. Yeah, see, I don't want to get in here just because it's at VWAP, because look what it did over here. It lost VWAP for a minute, from 10.05 till it was able to reclaim at 10.50. So, you know, we're looking at past history here. It's not a glowing endorsement to get in at the volume weighted average price. To be quite honest with you though, I'm thinking that ZYBT looks like the best of the bunch right now, even though it does have that lower high, 429 area high, then you have a 380 area high, and now we're rejecting at 340s. All the while, a flat bottom break could be brewing through 3. Maybe you guys could look to see if you can short ZYBT or how much locates would cost. I don't have it on my platform, but of course we have it with real trading. It'll just be about how much this one costs. Katina, man, just for and giggles, yeah, I appreciate you, Katina, man. Katina was always doing it live. He's gonna find out exactly how much real trading, of course, the prop firm for which we work, it would charge for. And when I give you guys the price, it's for 100 shares, so what we call a lot. And this is looking like it's gonna lose 3 here, man. This looks awfully good as a possible flat bottom break. So we'll keep tabs on that. We'll let you guys know. $10 for 100. So you got to do the math, right? What's the price move down, and what should you really kind of be expecting in terms? Exactly. You need 10 cents per share there to make that back, and it's failing, Katina, man. It's losing 3, Katina, man, and this flat bottom break, especially if we lose 280. That is the limit up level. So we're at 3, we lose 280, it could be big trouble right now for ZYBT. Something the hell is going on with Google over here. What is going on with Google?
Yeah,
it's bleeding its own blood. Chief scientist, what is this it? Or is this coming in earlier? I have no idea.
No, volume just stepping in, man.
Chief scientist is leaving after 27 years. Is this new or is this old? I don't know. Help me out, guys. To start his own AI company, reporting the Journal. Google is bleeding its own blood here. Down goes Google. It is now negative 1.5%. So we're going to keep an eye out on this one, guys. But I just want to let you know, this is what I'm seeing. I don't know if this is the reason it is moving, but those all came in at 12 o'clock. Here's my news blotter, and you'll see on the news blotter, Google's chief scientist is leaving. Did I see that earlier? I'm just looking here to see if this chief scientist story came in earlier. I don't see it, so that could be it. I have no idea. Are we going to Sia? Because I hear her talk. No? Okay. No worries, Sia. No worries. Take your time. Okay. So so it is that story. Let's send it to Sia.
Yeah, that speculation is correct. Wall Street Journal is currently reporting that Google's chief scientist is leaving after 27 years to start his own AI company. That is why Google's having such a big uptick. If there's any more developments in the story, I'll be sure to let you know. But currently, Wall Street Journal reporting that Google's chief scientist leaving after 27 years in the company to start his own AI company.
Thank you so much for that, Sia. I appreciate that. Let's dig into the story a little bit more if we can here. Now we have time. Do you have something to talk about? Can we look at this?
Yeah, go right ahead, man.
All right, so Jeff Dean, Joey, that's his name, one of Google's earliest employees and an architect of its AI strategy for the past 15 years. He's leaving. And as Sia mentioned, he's going to start his own scientific discovery company. He joined Google as its 30th employee in '99. This guy's an OG, bro. Yeah. He's going to be chief executive at a new public benefit corporation called Discovery Loop, and that aims to accelerate tech by automating complicated multi-step science and engineering tasks. The startup will initially focus on automating the process of machine learning and engineering via its own internal tech. Eventually, it plans to apply its tech to a variety of areas, including hardware design, drug discovery, love that, and global challenges such as clean energy, according to a news release. Okay, so we're not going to belabor this story anymore. You guys understand why Google is bleeding its own blood. Look at this. My God, there's no bid. I don't know what the market cap drop is right there, but we were at 381. We're at 362. This is really losing it, and it could be at 350 sooner rather than later. Google is really coming down now. Careful here, guys. For this, but yeah, we want to give you that information.
How's it not? Like, I mean, the NASDAQ did sell off a little bit, but I mean, with that pace, it's funny. Honestly, this is, again, the guy's been there for a long time, but this guy just probably raised a couple, I don't know how many billions of dollars off of the market cap right there. whatever $10 would be. Yeah, it's a great opportunity to buy a little bit more.
Like, is this guy like? Who,
it was on a big
so
run.
Important, Joey, because he's been there like.
Well, I guess he's not. Trust me.
Yeah.
I mean, the street may perceive it that way, and it's like might be a big deal, but Google will be just fine. Regardless, I think, who is at the, I shouldn't say at the helm, man. It's just how business works, right? I think it's a good buying opportunity. It's just been on such a big run. You give it a little spark, and then next thing you know, you have this kind of issue. It was on a nice 3-day run, so sell it off, man.
All right. I think Adira's got news. Let's send it to her.
Bigger story here with Google. Looks like we're actually going to get the Demis Hassabis of Google's DeepMind stepping down as CEO. So again, looks like we've got Demis Hassabis of Google DeepMind stepping down as CEO of Google DeepMind. Sounds like he could be, it says to be chair. Not clear if this is going to be the chair of this new company being started by this Google chief scientist, but if so, this Demis Hassabis stepping down would be a much bigger deal than the Jeff Dean story. Again, guys, keep an eye here on this Google catalyst. As we get more details, I will keep you posted. And again, as the wording of this story, gets a little bit clearer, I'll keep you guys posted as well. But either way, you've got two heavyweights at Google reportedly leaving the company. It's time to see what's happening now over with Sia.
Thank you so much for that, Adira. That report, that is actually crazy for Google to bleed that much. Let's take a look at what is going on with the markets right now. We have the context for the Google story over there. SPY currently tilting a bit towards the red, just slightly. The triple Qs down 0.5%. You have the Dow that's up 0.74% and the IWM up almost half. IWM down almost 0.5% on the day. Two things that I have for you now. The ITA, that is the iShares US Aerospace and Defense ETF, has up to an intraday record as of today. The fund is at an all-time high that is dating back to its inception in the year 2006, and the ITA had last hit a record on the 7th of July. Shares currently are up 0.30%, 0.42% to be precise, trading around $251 region. Next up, we're talking about SKT, that is Tanger Incorporated. CEO of the company, Stephen Yeloff, has said that the store operator has seen traffic increase in June and July due to international and domestic tourists that were tied to the FIFA World Cup. SKT, that is Tanger, still flat on the day, but just a couple comments that came in from the CEO. But before we send it back to the show, Neil, tell us your lesson for the day.
Thank you very much, Sia. Crazy action over there in Alphabet, which is trying to hold on to the low. I don't think anybody's even heard of those people, but it doesn't really matter. It's moving. But I want to talk about the bank error in your favor trade, because there's a lot of ways that could happen. Like, I don't know. Let's just say whatever reason you were sitting in Alphabet and then you just happen to get lucky, like you're short and you take advantage. But there are sometimes, and I'm not saying that people are in the know before a headline drops, or again, like, I don't want to get all conspiracy theory, but if you looked at what was going on in Alphabet before, it was a program sell. And it brought me to two things that happened yesterday in the market. And one of them was on Warner Brothers Discovery, and another one was on eBay right at the end of the day. And in each one of those cases, like, there was a headline about the negativity on the deal, again, more delays for when it might possibly or might not go through in Warner Brothers right in the middle of the day. But the interesting thing about it is it had just done a false consolidation break, and then right as it's breaking the all-day trend line is the moment everything falls apart. That's when the selling on the news comes in. And it's not about knowing that that's going to be the case, but before the volume comes in, the volume candle is here. The break of the trend is on a very small, very infinitesimally small volume bump that breaks an upward trend on the day in a stock, by the way, which had been selling off the day before. And I'm not saying anybody knew. I'm not saying someone jumped in and front ran that story and caused the trend to break, and that could have been your indicator. I'm just saying it's something that, hey, maybe you're looking at. If you like a trend, you go for it and take a shot. And I'll give you another example of something that we all knew about what was happening at the end of the day, which was EA being, not kicked out's the wrong word. I mean, if you're kicked out of the index, it means you stink and someone's going in for you. If you're removed from the index because a deal is closing, sometimes there's sell pressure at the close. So there was an anticipation for a gigantic sell imbalance that comes out at 350. And then what was this stock doing? Doing absolutely nothing. If anything, just slightly ticking up every couple of cents, gets to the prior day high, and then right before the imbalance is coming out, it's breaking a slight trend. And everything is fractal in the market. If a stock has a 10-cent range and moves 3, that's still significant. And when it moved that little tiny percent down early, you could have said, okay, well, now all of a sudden the sellers that are anticipating that leaving the index are jumping in, and you could short this. Look at the move down. That's still 5 times the daily range at that point up into the day, and a short to the high is like a 5 or 6 to 1 trade. All day long, there was no ambiguity about what was going on in the index. You knew it was coming out, but the stock wasn't selling off. And then once it starts to sell, it just accelerates after that, because the event that everyone's expecting causes it to come down at 350. And you don't have to be sitting in it. You can just wait for it to do something different. In this case, it literally lost VWAP and broke a bit of a trend, and then all of a sudden it accelerates. And then Warner Brothers, sort of a similar thing on that trend break. Now, I'm doing the whole market's going down, so I'm in it today for a couple of reasons. 1, because it's an all-day trend break and it happened to work yesterday. 2, it's in a downtrend. And 3, if the market's going to fall, if a deal's not going to go through, then one of the things that ends up being true is you have to trade on your old laurels. So therefore, this thing should move with the market a little bit more than it normally would. But it's just about putting yourself in the right place if you can. Like if a strategy, if a setup that you like gives you an indication that, hey, this is going to turn, and on top of that, there's like an underhang or a current or a slight volume spike that maybe something is going on, that can give you the extra alpha. Now, I don't think anybody front ran the Alphabet thing, but it did seem like it was, like this looks like it was a program like 45-degree angle, or whatever, like a 45-degree angle like to the downside here, and so linear, and then it absolutely drops. And when I saw that in eBay and the Warner Brothers, which by the way, I am saying someone knew the Warner Brothers thing. Like that's, as far as I'm concerned, that's what it looked like to me when I went back. If you looked at when the news hit, it was right at the top, and it broke the trend line on a volume spike, and then like a minute later the news came out. So if you can put yourself in the position where you have a technical trade and you're already in the money, or it's giving you indication to be in, you can just get the benefit of the doubt if someone happens to be front running. Because sometimes that's all a trend break is, or a flat bottom break, or a trend in general like Alphabet was doing. So, we want to blend it into something that's happening, because that's the most interesting thing about the market. It's going to teach you something every single day, and maybe this is a great opportunity. Like, before we throw back to the midday, guys, I'm just going to look at Alphabet on the daily chart and start that. So 50 period, it's not close. I thought maybe we were closer to the 50 period here on the daily on Alphabet. That's down at 353.5-ish. So about $5 away. There's a spot that we could be looking for on Alphabet. That looks like a good one. Good quarter, a couple people leaving, but hey, let's see if that 50 period is going to be able to hold. The shepherd's pie was all right. I don't know. It was normal. Like it wasn't good. It wasn't bad. Should have put like hot sauce on it or something to give it more than like a 6.5. If I added hot sauce, it'd be a little bit better. Vegetables were always good. So we'll throw you guys back to the midday. Hopefully Google can bounce that 50 period moving average. And sometimes you can see something brewing, because when news drops or a major headline, there's little signs in there sometimes in the tape or the chart that'll show someone had it early. You can get lucky if you just happen to take shot on a normal technical break, and then the news hits after. Good luck on Alphabet. Good luck on all the midday trading. The market just went red. Yes. Boo. Peace.
I want to go over Google again here. So as GOOGL continues to make new intraday lows, we had 2 separate stories that came out at the exact same time that are tangentially related. So we'll start with the one that came out first here. Wall Street Journal reporting that Jeff Dean, who is a chief AI scientist at Google, and as Sharif mentioned, longtime employee, he's been there for 27 years. He is leaving with 3 other veteran Google scientists to found a new startup. Now, apparently the Google DeepMind CTO will become the new division head. Then we got the second story here, this one reported by Bloomberg. Demis Hassabis, who was the former CEO of Google DeepMind, he's stepping down from the CEO role. He's still going to be the chair of Google DeepMind, and he'll become the new Alphabet chief scientist. So that's the deal here. 2 separate stories with GOOGL, both related to some, not turmoil, but certain turnaround here at the company, and that's the deal with GeoOGL. Before we go back to Joe and to Sharif, I want to mention UiPath. This is not moving at all, but this just came out here as well. Apparently, they're expanding their Google Cloud AI infrastructure to scale agentic AI. Perhaps a story that would have been better received by the market had it come out, say, 10 minutes earlier. Back to you.
Wow, it has been a very eventful afternoon, and it's going to get more eventful because VinFast reported strong Q2 momentum, and they delivered more than 70,000 EVs globally. Guys, that is up 96% year over year. First half deliveries reached nearly 129,000 vehicles, up 78%, reinforcing, of course, the company's growth trajectory across its expanding EV portfolio. And by mid-year, VinFast had already achieved approximately 43% of both its 2026 4W and 2W delivery targets, putting the company firmly on track across both growth engines. Shout out to the good folks at VinFast.
Yeah.
You know what I saw, Joey?
What'd you see?
I saw VinFast for sale on my favorite area to get new things.
Oh, yeah?
Facebook Marketplace.
Oh, really?
There was a lease takeover that looked fantastic. And can I say, I do like the idea of lease takeovers. It's a contingent or it's a limited liability.
Okay.
So, say the lease expires in May of 2027.
Yep.
You know, I just give the car back. It's
car
like
back.
almost like having a rental. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
You just
yeah.
get to
Pretty
enjoy
much.
it for a little bit.
Yeah,
And then give it back. And I was looking at the VF9 specifically.
Oh, really?
Beautiful car. A little bit longer, right? So maybe some people who don't
More
like.
sedanish.
I would say more wagonish, brother.
Oh,
I'll
yeah,
show you what it looks
yeah,
like in a
pull it
minute.
up,
But
yeah.
pull up. It looks actually pretty good. If you guys don't mind for a second here
stretch-
while Google
stretch
continues
sedan,
to
I
hang
should
out.
say.
Free gas, Katina Man says. And then he would know. Well, he's got the Model 3, of course. And now he's using FSD. And I think that's kind of one of the things that I'd like to see FSD on the Fast. Anyway.
You have to. You're gonna listen. I could be totally wrong on this, but it's gonna be such a major disruptive service to the auto industry. If you don't have autonomy, then it's like I don't want to hear this. I like driving. No, you need to have the option.
You need to, of course. Absolutely
Trust me,
agree.
you're not going to.
Yeah, one sec. Okay, let's go to Adair, and then we'll talk a little VF9 when we get back.
First, we'll talk Shake Shack here. SHAK. This is a big move to the upside. The headline that I'm seeing here is that Smith says Starboard has taken a position in Shake Shack. So I looked up who this Smith was. Seems like it's probably Jeff Smith, who was the managing member, CEO, and CIO of Starboard. So either way here, looks like Starboard's leader and chair has announced that the group has taken a position in SHAK. Let's see if we get anything else shaking up here, but nice push to the upside for SHAK. I just looked up the volume on this name on the day. It's over 2 million shares, so decent volume move here as well. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adair. Great call out. Here it is, Assassino.
Yeah.
Tell me in my ear, brother. What do you think, man? Say it again. He likes it. I like it. Katina Man, what do you think?
Katina Man likes it.
Yes or no? Maybe so? 6 out of 10. Neil,
Whoa, that's
yourself.
high.
He wants to see the back.
See the back.
He kind of likes it, right? Look at the tan interior, Neil. I don't know if it's coming out on there, but this is tan interior right here, man. So it's blue on tan. Sia, I know you love cars, so I'd love to get your opinion. What do you think about this? Yeah, just throw it around, yeah. What do you think?
The interiors.
Absolutely, you can see the interior. Let's put VinFast VF9 interior. I think Neil wants to see it as well, so let's throw this on. I'll show the tan interior because I like that. I like that. I like that. Where the money at? What do you think? Neil, interior. That's nice.
That's mad
It's nice, man. I really do mean it. Like we're not saying that just because they're sponsors. I actually like the car. And that's the truth. Anyway, it's Vietnamese, whatever. I don't really know them for making cars, but hey, that could
I like the
change.
V too.
I like it, bro. I'm not gonna lie. And this color, my
How much is
affinity
it?
for blue.
But the only thing that
Very good deal.
How much is this gonna run?
We're talking like Canadian, maybe 3 and change bi-weekly. It's reasonable, man.
I don't know.
It's reasonable.
We gotta buy these things cash around these neck.
Well, not everybody's Joey Ops, right?
know what I
Buying
mean?
all their cars cash.
Well, we gotta see what it's going for over there.
Yeah, look, I'm liking the The response there in the chat as well, man. Why do you want such a big car, says Renshu. I don't know, brother. I like big cars. I don't like small cars. It's just not my thing, right? Looks ugly, says Black Hole.
Oh.
Yuck, your owner says. Looks like an Acura, says Saul, sorry. Tilster Tis loves it.
What?
Juan Padilla's opining that Sia doesn't like it. Jesse Martinez,
Yeah,
my man,
He's back.
is back. Beautiful interior. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm just trash, says I Smoke.
That's
Come
crazy.
on, bro. It's not trash. Juan Padilla says it looks like a Honda Pilot. I actually agree with you there, Magabones, on the fact that it looks like the Pilot.
I
But
think it looks good, man. The interior looks good. I think with this new generation of cars, if you don't have that big screen and that luxury interior, then you're in a little bit of trouble.
100% agree.
Right?
100%.
You know what I never understood is, we'll get back into the markets momentarily. The Audi Q3 interior is so, like, it's like, man, what am I even looking at here compared to what some of these other German
You like
cars?
it? So you like what you're seeing?
In the interior of the
Yeah,
Audi?
yeah,
No,
yeah.
it's so hot. It's so hot to carve, man.
You want to see hot garbage?
Yeah.
Pull up the interior of the new BMWs.
Yeah,
what are these
see.
hexagons, bro?
Let's see. Let me see.
Hold on, let me see. What is the 5 Series interior?
Yeah, let's see
5
what we got
Series
going on.
interior. It's new. I don't even think it's this one, Joey. Maybe 2026. Let's see that. No, it's not this one. It's one of them is like a hexagon. Get it, Katina man. What is
that's
going
a
on
big
over
recovery,
there, man?
man.
The Katina man is $7 in the money on the Google
Oh, man,
long.
what an
man.
opportunity
Absolute
there.
bottom pick in there. Good job, Katina man. He's printed up storms. I can't find it right now. I don't know which model it is, but there's like hexagons in some of them.
Oh, yeah?
It's just like weird looking, Joey. But
Man.
I think Beamer is.
Yeah, I know.
They need to fire their designers or
Oh.
something there, man.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, let's
+1.
Say it again. +1, you agree? Yeah. I think Randy agrees with us as well. When I showed him some of that interior, he wasn't happy. Renshu.
They've done better. They have done so much better.
They have. Like Joe's X1, like that time in Beamer's development, I think is prime Beamer.
No way.
Yes, that's my opinion, bro. That's
fair,
prime Beamer,
fair.
bro.
That's
Like
fair.
Renshu, can you guys get the Xiaomi SU7? That's literally the best EV money can buy outside maybe a new Cayenne EV. I couldn't agree with you more, brother. I couldn't agree with you more. Go ahead, Sia.
BMW Z8 has one of the best interiors.
The new one? The new one? The old one. Okay, I'll check that out. Thanks, Sia. But yeah, I do love the Xiaomi SU7, and I think the high-end model is like it's the fastest production car, I think, in the entire world, right? But it is electric. I think, and it can jump too. Like, I'm not even kidding. There's videos of it on YouTube jumping. Like, I don't know what the hell you're gonna need to jump puddles when you're driving, but the fact is
in the Mercedes?
No, the Xiaomi SU7, dude, it jumps because it has air suspension.
Yeah, you see the Mercedes, the Maybachs that do that?
What?
Yeah, bro.
No way.
They said he'd be doing that, man.
The engines are the issue, Sharif, says Save Man Woman. Very interesting, Save Man Woman. Are you?
Man.
All right.
Gora, hold on. I need to figure out, before we do that, I got to figure out from Gora if he's in this long. I mean, there it goes. Finally broke this channel to the downtrend, to the downside, right? So now 5-minute candle on the backside, and off to the race it goes as Google finding a rebound as well, too. So nice work there, Katina, man. With a low of approximately $356 all the way up to $365. So a nice move there from our guy to the right of us. Let's send it over to the desk.
Let's take a look at the IWM at the moment. That's down close to 0.5%. 3 tickers for you today. CDE, that is Core Mining, is up almost 8% on the day. It's reporting earnings after the bell as of today, and revenue estimate for the same is $1.24 billion, and an EPS estimate is at 26 cents. Second up, we have IONQ, that is IONQ Incorporated, that's down 2.5% on the day. IONQ and Sandia Sandia National Laboratories have signed a memorandum of understanding to accelerate quantum code design for national security applications, but the stock is down 2.5% as of today. RKLB, finally, Rocket Lab is up 1.5%. The company has secured a $397 million contract from the U.S. Space Force, according to a press release late yesterday.
Thank you for that, Sia. I'm watching YXT, guys. I don't want to punch in on anything right now. I am not liking any of these small cap gappers. But YXT was halted. It's still above the volume weighted average price. You know, guys, even though there's been a lot of selling, I mean, you don't need to be a chartered market technician or the NOS boss to see 11 support here. And here we are. Like, we're still holding structure despite the fact that we're about $7 off the high. Look at that 11. I'm showing you guys the bottom chart right there. 11 has been a major area of both support and resistance. And I'll submit to you guys, it hasn't given way. Now, I don't want to get in here because it's lower high, lower high, lower high into that, you know, $11 area. We know what that is. It's a flat bottom break. So the way that I get back involved with YXT is if it takes out the candle high, the 12-10 candle high on the 5. The high of which is, it's not going to let me do it, so we're going to bring in the multi-time frame. We'll put it here, YXT. The high of which is 1550. It takes out 1550, we got another thing coming here because then it changes trend of lower high, lower high, lower high with 11 as support. So, you know, that obviously does leave me with, you know, not getting a good price by getting in here, but I'll trade that off for more, I don't want to say security, but a better entry, at least the way that I trade. So I got nothing. I do apologize at the moment. Everything is on a breakdown. JLHL has lost VWAP. It's at 10.5. It looks like it's going to lose 10. YXT is the only one that I'm really looking at. INLF is below VWAP as well. The problem is here, for the shorts anyways, that you have 5.5 support. And ironically enough, you are still holding a higher low. It was 5.5 local area low. Now it's $6 local area low. So be on the lookout for that. ZYBT lost VWAP as well. It's bleeding its own blood. It's an unbroken downtrend after 429 high. So there's nothing. For me, there's nothing at this point. Really saving except for some of the slower movers. KLTR, maybe GERN. Those ones still hanging out. Rob, long echo since 8250. Room to 95. That's ambitious, Rob. I do like that. Let's have a look at ECHO.
The show.
For show. I'm going to hit that. Show.
GTA trailer 3? Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
It came out
Man,
already?
listen, again, I play more chess than I do video games. I haven't played video games in a long time. But the game looks wicked, man. It looks really
better,
really good.
bro. How many delays?
It looks
Right,
really good. The detail on it is pretty insane.
Yes. So, Rob, $95 is, I'm not saying you're wrong. What I would be aiming for at least is just maybe local area high. So yesterday's closing print on ECHO was about 91.50. Let's throw that line on there. About 91.60, Rob. So before, you know, we start looking at 95, I'd say let's get to 91.50 first. Let's get, you know, break even on the day because we're negative. And then maybe we can look to the topping tail candle that hit yesterday at 4 o'clock, which was $93. But nice ascending wedge pattern. Great call out, Rob. I would say a flat top break through 89, higher lows all the way throughout. And then you had that 89 implied balance high that rejected before we dropped down to 84.77. Good recovery there for ECHO. Thanks for pointing that out, Rob. Let's see. Ox Long, B, J, D, X. Sorry, options, man. Do you want to cover something? Because I'm just looking at the chat.
What a recovery here. I mean,
GOGS?
No, on NVDA, like you go down to 218.50s, you're right back up at 221, almost at the high of the day. And at this pace, I think you're going to breach it. So a nice recovery, man. Patience is really key, especially on some of these trades. Market turned around and off to the races it goes.
BJDX, Joey, that's what they're calling out in the chat. Grunfeld calling it out as well. Shout out to my man Grunfeld. Look, guys, I don't hate this, but facts are facts. This is still a lower high setup. I need to see a move above the high of the day into 165. We have to break trend of the lower highs. What am I talking about? Look at that 4 or 5 a.m. candle. 178 high. Not bad. How about that implied balance open right at 935? 165 high. Now where are we at with that latest pop up there? 162. So it's high, lower high, lower high. Let's move above 165 on BJDX. We get involved. In fact, I'm going to throw this one on the side chart over here.
Ooh.
We're going to take off NG, which is, you know, a little slower of a mover, put on BJDX. And if this one definitely catches a bid, I'll be involved, I promise. But we'll see what this one does. That's it. That's
All right,
it,
man.
bro.
Good.
All right.
Let's head over. Yeah, you don't got anything really going on. Let's head
No,
over and
brother,
see what
yeah.
SpaceX is up to. We could throw GOGs up just to figure out what's going on if we're getting a full bounce. Like, I don't know. This is a fantastic question. I'm sure we can figure out how much market cap was erased off of this, and I don't think a handful of individuals are going to have that much power on this major corporation. That's just on a big time run. I think it's a good opportunity to buy here at 357. Boom, off to the races it goes. Here goes AMD. Listen, I was thinking, you know what? I'm sure we're going to talk about it here later on in the day during the news, but there's a couple of interesting things. Now, I like what Sean was saying as well. It's just, it's really expensive, but it's holding up so much better than I've ever anticipated it to, which is totally fine. But I think at some point you're going to head into some areas where like, oh, you're not really expecting that. I think what's really big, and we'll talk about it momentarily, is one of the points that I will bring up. I'll leave you guys hanging a little bit of a cliffhanger on that one. But speaking of cliffhangers, there it is, 417. I'm surprised that this level hasn't been broken just yet. It's really, really shocking to me. But hey, by all means, if people want to continuously buy it up, then for sure. Let's send it over to the desk.
Keep an eye here on HPE. This stock is pushing a little bit higher as we get an article from Barron's called, quote, Hewlett-Packard Enterprise stock looks ready for another breakout, close quote. So Barron's basically calling this one as a long idea, seemingly on technicals, and you do get this push to the upside. I mean, again, nothing massive, but for a stock of this price, not a bad move here either on HPE as it makes moves towards the high of day. Back to you.
Yeah, Trav, hold on. Yeah. Oh, you have something there? Well, as soon as you're ready, let me know.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, there it goes. A nice recovery here.
All right, guys, quick reminder. Trader TV Live members get Sharif's my daily morning research note every single trading day that I am here. We are talking about the big market stories, things that are moving the market, the key technical levels, and not just the levels, but the trade plans, what you're looking for to get in, what you're looking for to get out, and the catalyst and what we're actually watching into the open. It is only $4.99 a month. And you also get members-only videos. You get custom posts and emojis, as well as those loyalty badges. So make sure to hit join below this video on YouTube to sign up. Thank you for everybody who signed up. And just by way of example, I got to show you guys the morning note. It was stacked today because, well, it's in the middle of earnings, Assassino, and we know how. Things, you know, there's a lot moving during earnings. So you're just going to go, once you signed up, you're going to go to the Trader TV Live homepage on YouTube. You have a series of tabs right at the top, home, video, shorts, live. Click posts right there, this bad boy right here. And then mosey on down, says members only. And now I've put the link right at the top because people were like, yo, I can only see the first page. Where's the rest of it? Well, you didn't click read more. Now you don't need to click read more anymore. You're going to see it right there. Click that link and the boom. SpaceX spending spooks investors despite a strong quarter, reads the headline. So make sure to sign up every day, or make sure to read it every day. And thank you for those who have signed up.
This guy's thinking $1 trillion. Think SpaceX can make $1 trillion in revenue?
I heard him
in like
say
the
that
next
in
couple
2030.
Of, like, yeah, man, which is
Look,
pretty crazy.
Bro, you know what? You know, he has his way.
He does have
his way, right? He exaggerates a lot, but most of the stuff that he like will project at least partially comes true, right? I would say FSD is probably as close as you get right now to, you know, autonomous driving. I don't think anything is better on a commercially available car. Maybe Waymo, but you can't buy those, right? So there's a lot of stuff that he does, right?
Yeah, it just takes a long time. Yeah. I mean, just a little bit off. Yo, what's going on, Mike P? Yo, glad to see you in the chat. I haven't seen you this morning. We're in my, okay, all right. But hey,
welcome, Ray.
All right. You and Sharif were in my dream. We were getting loud. Oh, okay. Dara was on the show telling me to leave y'all alone because y'all were late for work. Well, I'll tell you one thing. The man to the right of me is never late for work. So it was only.
I don't come late to work.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like a paranoia of mine, right? I just don't like shit.
You don't
Neither
like,
do you, though.
Dude, yeah, I know.
Neither do you.
I had to be early all the time.
Yeah.
Dude, listen, if there's any, Sharif's the same way. I know this already. If there's any form of obstruction on my way there, it's just like,
I'm
it's
agitated.
just like, what is
Get
going
out of the way.
Yeah, so crazy stuff.
ZYBT is moving.
QYBT, did you want to cover that? Because we're only like a fraction of a percent off of the high of the day on NVDA. Market's starting to come back in. Who's dragging it down now? Listen, I don't even know what's going on. Why is the NASDAQ so weak? Do we have to go and look at some of the cybersecurity names, which CrowdStrike is up 0.6%?
Oh, they gave it back. They were up big this morning.
Yeah, they were up big.
Like 4.
CrowdStrike hit all-time highs today.
Yeah,
and
so did
W hit all-time highs today. So it's just like, okay, where's the weakness really coming from here? And I honestly
the MAG, bro. Everything is negative except NVIDIA. NVIDIA on its own 4 1/3.
Yeah, but okay,
everything.
So what?
And the chips are negative too.
No,
Joey.
but what I'm getting at, Sharif, is like if you look, a lot of names are above the volume. Oh, it's Meta. Oh, okay.
Meta's getting clipped?
Yeah, well,
Meta's down 0.89,
but
man.
look where it is from the volume-weighted average price, right? Like Google is south of VWAP as well, too. That's more or less what I was correlating with, right? Like usually this name is enough to drive and hold it up, but you can see that it was just straight trend down, and I'm looking for the names that are doing that, like, okay, and Amazon. So you had a couple of these names, because when I was looking at them earlier, that wasn't necessarily the case, but it is now. Hey, listen, this was insane. You run into all-time highs in Amazon in the span of 72 hours. So, I mean, there's nothing really you can say when you pull back a little bit here. You get 27% just like that. And the same thing with Microsoft. Like, expect these things to pull back a little bit.
Just before we go to see you guys, Charlie, got it, bro. Thank you for joining, brother. Make sure to get my morning note. You're in the YouTube homepage. Click post. We also got Ray Presidente, 4067. Thank you for joining as well, brother. Make sure to get my morning note in the post section of the YouTube homepage. Thank you for joining. Let's send it to Sia for Sector Watch.
SPY is currently tilting a bit towards the green. Not a crazy move here, but it is up, trading around the 751 region. Let's take a look at what's moving in these sectors. Electric tech, right off the bat, strength in NVIDIA. That's up 4.3%. Apple, Broadcom, Cisco, and SanDisk are flat on the sector. So, just as I said that, they have turned green. Cisco up 0.5%, AVGO, Broadcom up 0.5%, but AMD continuing to slide down close to 6% on the day. We're going to discuss earnings in depth in the news segment along with SpaceX, so don't go anywhere. MU up 3.2% on the day. You have GE that is also up, Dell, RTX. However, TXN that is down just a little bit, 1.5% on the day. WDC flat. Qualcomm also down 2.7%. Tech services, you have Google. We heard the news story about 2 people leaving Google as of today. Right now, Google down 4%. Meta, Microsoft also down, as is Oracle, Palantir, and PNW, but Netflix stays flat on the day, along with CRM. Finance, BRK, Visa, and MasterCard a bit flat. Look over here, along with AXP. However, you have JPM, MSGS, WFC, Bank of America, all up on the day. Citi is also up at the moment right now, with Robinhood up 1% as well. However, KKR is down 3.2%, as is AMT down 5%. Retail trading of Amazon down close to 2%. Walmart is considerably flat, however, a bit towards the green. Costco considerably flat as well. Home Depot, however, up almost 1% on the day. TJX up over 1%. However, CVS is down 5.2%. Health Tech, strength right off the bat here as well. Lilly is up, leading 4.4%, along with ABBV up 1%, over 1%. MRK that's closing to 1%, and J&J up close to 1.5%. Produce manufacturing, if AMT, LRCX lagging a bit behind compared to the other names. CAT that's up 1.4% after a strong earnings report yesterday. GEV is up 8% as well. Consumer non-durables, we have a lot of flatness and a lot of mixed sentiment across the board for this sector, as well as industrials, commercial, and transportation. But a highlight in transportation is that Uber is down almost 7% on the day. Health services, UNH up 1.7%, HCA up 2.5%. 2 names, DNA that's down 18% on the day, and SOLV that's down 2.5%. Finally, consumer durables and utilities. Consumer durables, Tesla down 1.3%. Rest of the sector looking a bit flat here, with names like GM and F, as well as NVR and LEN. But utilities being the lagging sector here, almost all names in the red, except NRG that's up 1.5%.
Get it, NRG. Yeah. I wanted to mention a couple of names. First of all, Bovin's in the house.
Ooh.
So now I'm pumped. Get it, Bovin. Bovin's calling out RITR. So let's bring this in here. Ritter, RITR. Not a bad look, Bovin. Sub $1, obviously, as you can see there. High of the day is in the pre at 805, 34.94 HOD. That's not the technical, but that's the factual high of the day. The official high of the day is a 1215 print, which is 31.73. We're showing 26 and change. We've got a little bit of a downtrend, but we're still holding the volume weighted average price. So shout out to my man Bovin calling out RITR. I'm also watching YXT, of course, well, because it's halted, and it will be at least a 10-minute halt case because we're past 12:37:10. That would have been 5 minutes. So now we're waiting for 12:42:10. That's the halt time. That's 10 minutes after the halt time. The tap is showing 16.11. The halt price is 15.64. So be on the lookout for that. We're waiting here. If we open up in this way, we'll have taken out prior area high, not day high, but prior area high. And that's what I was looking for on YXT. I didn't want to try to guess or whether or not, it was going to hold the higher low area. Now we're kind of riding trend with the higher high. So very much fixated here on YXT. Let's see if we can get in to some of this. Shout out to my man Bovin. He's in the house.
He's in the house.
Not yet. Still driving. Bovin, put the phone down. You're implicating yourself.
Yeah, man. That's crazy.
Nah, Bovin, be safe, brother. And while you're being safe, Bovin, you know who's not safe? The longs on JLHL. Down goes JLHL. Joey, limit down is 956. We're showing 996 right now. VWAP is 1150, so we left that bad boy
That thing
behind.
was up 400%, wasn't it, at one point?
Yeah, Joey. I mean, we were at 16.14 high, and now we're trading at $10. So yeah, you give a little,
Could you
take a little.
analyze shop?
I'm
Yeah,
buying.
absolutely.
Don't do it, Case. Don't do it.
Whoa.
She's so combative, eh?
is,
She likes to say, if you say left, she goes right, bro. That's crazy, Case. What's going on over there, man?
Going over the desk momentarily, Shopify. Yeah, getting into, I didn't go over the full report, but it seems like some pretty good numbers here. Strong gap up, right? Probably a lot of this has to do with guidance as it takes a big time move through some key resistance zones at 135 and then off to the races, but starting to come back in a little bit. Shout out to O Canada. My friend was an early investor. I know this doesn't mean anything to you at all, but a long time ago, one of the first stocks that he ever owned was Shopify. We'll zoom out. When in doubt, zoom out. And let's see if we got ourselves something rolling here. $2. Yeah, I mean, this is insane pullback all the way from 175 there with a, did this reverse? Oh, no, it didn't. What an odd time to split. Okay, anyways, aside from that, yeah, I mean, hey, we'll go over the report momentarily. Make sure you guys stick with us for the news that might give you a little bit more of an insight. Pug Life, what's going on? We're going to head to a high of the day on the king of the chips themselves, NVDA. Let's send it over to the desk.
Let's take a look here at USO. Nothing really moving here, but I just want to provide a little bit of an update on the whole Oman-Iran negotiation with the Strait of Hormuz. Fars news out of Iran reporting that, according to an informed source, if the agreement between Iran and Oman is finalized, the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz is going to be requiring separate arrangements that also include the fulfillment of U.S. commitments. So as we expected, this whole agreement with Iran and Oman is separate from anything that happens with Iran and the U.S. So more complications here with the Strait of Hormuz and USO. Back to you.
No, not you. Oh, it's open. Here we go. YXT is open. Let's see what this one does. 16 buyer generally. Are we going to clear 17 here? Looking for the step in. 1650 buyer. Let's give this one the old community call. Let's try 17 seller. They killed him, Joey. Into 18 we go. Watch for the flush through 17. It's bleeding its own blood. Right down into 17 again. Looking for a move up here. Watch out for the flush down, though. This is what is dangerous about these ones. They can turn on you quicker than you can say, how do you frickin' do? So continuing to watch your 1650. Limit down, possibly incoming here. We'll give back a little bit there, but let's see if we can step in here. Joey, right back into 16. What are you looking at, my man?
Good stuff, man. I'm looking at the Toronto Blue Jays in last place in the division. How do you go?
Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, what a disaster this year. Unfortunately, where's Neil? He's not here. All right. Anyways, aside from that, guys, once again, I don't have too much going on. We're going to be waiting, so probably not very many trades. We can go over what we took here today. A couple attempts on the long side for the NASDAQ. No recovery whatsoever. Sells off comes back to these levels. Now, we had a nice move on SSPC, which would dock our big win. We should have just walked away at this point, Shree, but we don't have the ability to do so. Wow, that's not very nice, Jeremy. Anyways, nice move here with the double up on the position. Like, this is key. We just want to make our winners as big as possible. Did we maximize on the opportunity? No, but we extracted profits, and that's the objective, okay? This move here would have made the story completely different, but we tried again, didn't go for us, decided to find a little bit of a bounce, and we're not too far. But I think at this point in the day, considering we've had some strong sessions, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some more sideways price action. And then guess what? Come Friday, it's going to be a rocket Friday. No, I have no idea in regards to that, but I hope so, and I do believe that will be the case. Now, as for the NASDAQ, we have SPY and the Dow Jones, the diamonds themselves running into all-time highs. Wow. Once again, 2 days in a row on the Dow. IWM, are we there yet? New all-time high today. NASDAQ, not quite there yet, guys. We're only about 2% off of that level. 4%.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. Yeah, 4%.
Right back in, guys. We did well on this latest entry in at 16. We took out 17 3/4, but it dropped right back down. Here's 17 again. Looking for a decisive clearing of 17. You're not getting that. We did get that big price spike up, but we dropped pretty aggressively, so I had to stop out. But I saw what I saw at 16, and here we go again, man. Right back into 16 1/3. There's a buyer here locally at the third of a dollar. So continuing to watch here, want a bigger move up, man. We need a 17 decisive clearing. We are certainly not getting that right now. So gonna pack the patience. This candle is undecided out. Oh. What an out there, wow. I saw that flush pretty aggressively, man. These flat keys, they gotta be a bit quicker here, bro, because there was a little bit of a delay. So did well on this last trade. Very, very happy with this last trade here because, well, the first one didn't work. So let's continue to watch here. I think that there's another buyer stepping in locally at 16 so that we could possibly get back in. Let's wait and see. Let me just flip to the 5 on YXT over here, the 5 second that is. So I can spot areas of support and resistance. We're still showing 15.97. We have a double bottom generally. I want to say, well, not really double bottom. One's 15.15, the other one's 15.40. But we're zigging and zagging right now with the $16 level. So I wonder if this holds up. It seems to be more lower highs than higher lows though. So I don't want to jump in here yet. Maybe if we get above 16.50, 17, I'd rather a decisive closing of 17 before I jump in right back down into 15.80s. Let's see if we hold up above 15.40. That's prior area low. If we lose that, then we lose trend of higher lows. So going to continue to watch. Nothing for me to do here. Wow, 15.60, 15.30, okay. Wow, yeah, that's not for me. Down goes YXT into 15.13, showing 30s now. Does it hold 15? The answer is maybe. It's at 15. Whew, 14.92. Oh, not touching this. No thank you. Yeah, this is it's a little too volatile for me at the moment, so we'll leave that one alone. I'm also watching BJDX and RITR. So we're going to leave those ones on the side chart there to see if we can execute on them. But right now, I didn't like what I saw from YXT, especially since we took out that key level and we didn't hold. Now, we still have higher lows. So if you're looking at the local area low at the 11.55 candle, the low of which is 10.10. And then the local area high is the candle we just printed. Oh, jeez, this thing, YXT. Sorry. Yeah, we'll go 1 second. YXT, so local area high, the prior area high, 17.90. That's where we got the print. So 10.10 local area low, local area high, 17.90. We're obviously somewhere in between at the moment. So we'll pack the patience, see if we can reverse trend, and we'll jump in. But we're going to send it to Adair.
Keep an eye on CMPS. This name already having a really good day on earnings day one. They reported before the bell today. The stock currently about $13.50, although again, we're at high of days. This is continuing to grow. Basically, this analyst who goes by the moniker, quote, the Raven, posted on Substack that it's, quote, tough to make a case that CMPS shouldn't be looked at by other big pharma companies trying to get into the psychedelic space. So the psychedelic name here on earnings day one, now getting a nod as a potential takeover target. Good look for CMPS, Compass Pathways.
Okay. Yeah, notorious good stuff. Yeah, it's Casey. It's definitely revoked. Unfortunately, with what you just said to me, there's no chance.
Blocker.
No, yeah, she asked him. Yeah, blocker. I'm like, yeah, Blue Jays. She's like, go Yankees. Blocked immediately. No, we're obviously messing around. Listen, Notorious, I like what you had going on there in regards to gold. Listen, this is a big time downtrend break, right? So when did we start selling initially? Wednesday, January. So it's been 8 months. I mean, this could be a good opportunity to get involved. And you can see there's multiple tests of this $365 level. It breaks, you're now at $389. So things aren't looking too bad on this ETF GLD. Silver, a little bit different of a story, but we're heading right into this downtrend, right? So the backside of it, can you open up maybe north of $60, I think is maybe where you'd like to get involved on that. But gold's starting to look pretty good and intriguing if you ask me. So not too bad of a play there. Notorious. Iran says it won't accept foreign interference in Strait. All right. So, yeah, so more news in regards to that. Now, Sharif, I don't know if you have anything going on, but Google does look like it's going to curl back over. You do have something going on? Yeah, I'll let you punch keys, and then whenever you're ready, you let me know. But what we do have right now is that we have a curl over in the SPY. Gaurav, are you still holding on to this position? Because I know you were long somewhere in around this neck of the woods. It did get a nice bounce, but now we're just starting to move sideways. You can see that there's a clear structure between 772 and where we're sitting at right now. Now, as for this, come on, break up and head up into 25. But no, don't do that just yet. We need to buy a little bit more, Sharif. But it's been pretty good. This is what I've been talking about. Now, listen, I did believe that we were going to break through this support level, but this really held up well. The structure was absolutely insane. And then sure enough, let's see if we go and test this. We're only a couple of strong days away from that point, but I'm going to take something from Brian Shannon. And what he said is A B equals CD, A plus B equals CD. So what I'm looking at here is, even though we did have a little bit of a move, I'm going to be expecting a little bit more in regards, because we came back, we retested, and we bounced. Now, where's the potential target? And when I calculated this, it puts you north of $300. I'm not saying that's going to happen immediately, but I think at some point we'll have the ability to be there.
Yeah, we did hear well here, Joey.
All right, Mike.
Decidedly positive on the day now. We got pretty aggressive with the entry at 15, and we added like a psycho on the way up. 15 initial entries, 16, and boom, into 17 we go. Very pleased with this trade here on YXT, but I got to tell you, let me tell you something. We're pretty consolidative here, guys, with more bottoming tail candles than I'm seeing topping tail. But you're not getting decisive clearings of area highs, right? You got that 1750 area high, and we couldn't mosey on up there on the last attempt. We rejected 17. So I don't know if this trade for me right now, but it would be definitely a good looker if we could clear 17.5 pretty decisively. And the thing about 17.5, guys, is it's not just resistance from a random, candle at 1240. It's the halt level that we had a 10-minute halt at. Take a look at the 1125 candle on 5. I'm talking about this one right here. Look at the halt level open. It was 17. Right? These intraday halt levels act as, yes, intraday areas of support and resistance. So we're dropping down to 15 now. I'll have nothing to do with this one until we can take out 17.5. So going to leave this one to cook or do whatever it wants to do.
Let him
and
cook.
while you, what?
Let him cook.
Let him cook. Let him cook. BJDX, guys. Bovin, this is hanging out here, I would say, at VWAP. But it did this before. I mean, how do you guys see this? Bovin, Grunfeld, I don't think Tisha's there anymore, but, and Case, what do you guys see over here? Like, we had this move above VWAP into 165, we dropped to 131. Here we are again with a lower high, but it feels like we're hanging out at VWAP a little bit better than we did last time. The problem is we're still putting in lower highs, so I definitely want to see a curl, like a rounding of this pattern and maybe some higher highs. But BJDX looks pretty good. I don't know if I'm going to execute on it at the moment, but we're going to keep it on the side chart in any event. So that is what I'm looking at here.
All right, my boy.
Yeah. What else are we looking at here, man? There's some stuff coming in.
It's only a matter of time, I think, at this point. We're only 6% off of the all-time high in NVDA.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, 6%.
6%?
6%. Now, May 26th is when we previously made one.
Is that right? May 26th. Did you hear that, Case?
Oh, get it? All right. Oh, no, Case. What happened here? Was that you who sold all this?
Yeah, it was her, bro.
And then you had me cursing the trading gods themselves. You say Ram?
No, I said blame her. No,
I
well, we
thought
can
you
blame
said-
Ram as well.
Oh no, we can't. We can't anymore, man. She's
Oh,
going
that's
on mat leave.
true.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, we got to be careful.
Yeah, we got to be really careful. 6% over here until we see an all-time high there in NVDA. How far are we? We're a little bit more off of those levels in AMD, I believe, at this point, but I could totally be wrong. What are we sitting at, Sharif, from a percentage metric? What, this thing is just prolonged.
You must be in a good mood today, bro, because I know you're heavy in NVIDIA right now.
I'm not heavy enough. Let me put it to you that way, man. Not heavy enough. Well, but listen, I keep buying it up, down.
All around.
Yo, honestly, man, up, down. Listen, I bought a couple more here today. I was buying some more. Yes, I bought some every day this week. It's only Wednesday, though. I bought some last week, the majority of the days. But again, it's only like a couple here, a couple there, right?
Bro.
Try to get in at good levels. But yeah, for the next year and a bit, until I see capital expenditures cool down on hyperscalers, then I'm just pedal to the metal on this one here. Let's send it over the desk.
Yeah, man.
Keep an eye here, guys. I mean, no movement on these stocks, but I was just saying, just off camera, one of the oddest headlines I've ever seen. You've got AWS, that is Amazon Web Services, and JP Morgan announcing a collaboration to advance quantum computing research and development. So Amazon upping its quantum R&D with the help of JP Morgan. It's also worth noting, for context, you're going to get 3 quantum companies reporting over the next couple days. So you're going to get tonight IONQ, tomorrow morning QBTS, tomorrow after the bell, Rigetti. Back to you.
Thanks for that, Adira. You know, I did. Listen, Ren Show, I did. I truly believe that we were going to see that just from where we were sitting, right? I thought we would get a little bit of a structure breakdown. And I said, but again, if you're going to bring up the point that I said, hey, we said Joe was going to, we're going to see 180 on NVDA, then you have to bring up the fact that I said I was going to be buying it hand over fist at that point as well, too. But instead, I got to buy it up here at 221. What's the PE? I don't know how much market cap we've had. We're probably quite a bit on this bad boy. But other than that, listen, within here, this would have been my golden zone, right? And then off to the races to 300, looking for that 100% return. But unfortunately, we didn't get it. So what I have to do is try to grab some over any form of a pullback. But yeah, man, listen, that's my conviction. That's where I'm staying. And it was even better. I looked at my phone after the report, after the SpaceX report, and next thing I know is that this thing's up another $5-6. And I'm like, what is even going on here? Shout out to Elon Musk for helping us out, man.
All right, KC 526 dropping 10 beauties in the chat. Thank you very much, Case. Uncle Sharif, will you look at TBI, breakthrough trade to swing? Love it, Case. Let me just look at what this is. Called True Blue. Trades on the NYSE. It's up a respectable 30% on the day with a $303 million market cap. They specialize in workforce solutions. Segments include People Ready, People Scout, and People Management. They provide on-demand skilled labor in a range of industries, including construction, transport, manufacturing, retail. Okay, we get it. Now let's look at the technicals. Case, this is the weekly. So I'm just going to start with the week. Let's look over here, throw on that ticker so everybody can follow along. TBI, the set ticker, clearly a very prolonged downtrend here that, with respect, has been broken, okay? And in fact, that downtrend line, which was acting as resistance, funny enough how this works, now acting as support. Beautiful break off that 3. Looks like 3 acted as an interesting area of support because you have a bit of a double bottom there back from early May and then again in early June. And since that time, it's been a bit of an uptrend. But what you're seeing here is that touching of the blue line. That is the 200 exponential moving average on the weekly. So we're at a possibly an important area of resistance. And, you know, if history is any guide, Case, we did kind of reject that 200 moving average. This is a long time ago, though, the 2019. That's December of 2019. Let's flip to the daily. Beautiful breakout through that 875.9. So there you go. You get that kind of higher low, higher low, higher low. And then boom, that 875, $9 seller gets clipped, and into 1025 we go. Let's talk about expectations now. Let's talk about where to expect, you know, some profit taking. Let's go ahead and look at this. Okay, so first and foremost, what's glaringly obvious are the COVID era lows. So what I see here, Case, is $12 resistance. You have double bottom there. So clearly a lot of support there. Does it act as resistance? So I'd be looking out for possible resistance at 12. And then if 12 clears, a lot of interactions here with this $16 area. You had it as resistance and you had it as support back. The support area happened June of 22. Resistance happened at about December of 23. So that's $16. So if you can get through the 200 exponential moving average on the weekly case, I think you're going to probably make a beeline into 12. Whether or not you clear 12 decisively, you know, you're going to have to wait and see at that time. But I like this. Good breakout, good technicals. Shout out to you, Case. Hope you print up multiple storms. Good luck there. All right. It's Wednesday.
It is Wednesday.
It's 1 o'clock, thereabouts.
Let's see what
We all know what that means. YXT's open. Luis, was that you shorting YXT? Luis? No, I'm kidding. Good morning, brother. Or sorry, good afternoon. Good evening to you. Happy Wednesday. How's it going, brother?
Thank you. It's going good. We have a pretty crazy day with a lot of runners.
Ridiculous. Yeah. JLHL, multiple halter, YXT, INLF, ZYBT. What is going on, Luis? When it rains, it pours, right? You guys know about that, the rain in Spain, right?
Oh.
Well, you know, after yesterday runner AMIX, we were expecting today some craziness. Of course, maybe not that much as we had today, but we always talk about this. When we have one crazy runner, it was AMIX yesterday, I think it was 300 or 400%. You could expect a little bit of craziness today. We were talking in the room here because it was 4 and nothing like very serious had happened, you know, in the meaning of going up crazy, some stocks. So we were smelling the blood a little bit, you know, like something was going to happen. And then it happened. But look, you want to review those 4. I had something for you. I prepared something for you. Look, I'm sharing the screen here. This one. Okay.
You have all of them ready. I love it.
Yeah, sure. So, you know, we try to find some red flags when you short the stocks. First one is if we are in a runner cycle. Yesterday we have AMIX, so we were expecting today something crazy happen. And then we have several red flags. First one, did it have reverse split like a month ago or a couple of months ago? You see over those 4, 2 had reverse split, very recent reverse split. Second one, do they have float, low float, less than 10 million? All of them.
I like this.
Third one, and the most important probably, are they Chinese? All of them are Chinese. Do they have criminal record? You know what I call criminal record is, you know, within the last year, did they do some crazy movement over 100% or 200 or 300%
right,
and all the way back? If you check the chart and they have this kind of movement previous months, you could expect that it happens, you know. Only YXT, it didn't have any crazy movement for the last year. The other 3, they have crazy runners. ZYBT, I think, was from $2 to 10. This one was a couple of weeks ago only. All of them, they have, you can check the chart, they have crazy movements. And the last one, are they under a possible VWAP reclaim setup? And I'm going to explain you what it is. It is when we go up, okay, let's see the first one, this one, ZYVT. They go up crazy, pre-market or in the open, they go down, they go a little bit below the VWAP, and then without volume, they reclaim the VWAP and the pre-market highs. Did it happen? Yes. So you will not short above this and above this, never. Okay, second one, the same, look. This is JLHGL, the same. Look, we have an opening, it went below VWAP, okay, and all the way up, holding VWAP, and again. And all of them, this is probably the easiest one, INLF, the same, went up, down, lost VWAP without any volume, reclaim, it goes like that, okay? So all of them, they have, the last one was YXT, sorry, same. Okay, there it goes, okay? It goes up crazy, it goes down without volume, a lot of halts, it reclaimed VWAP and pre-market highs or market highs in this, and it goes crazy. So what I mean, when you're short bias trader, you have to set up some red flags to not short some stocks, or at least not short early enough to get killed on the way up.
I love this checklist. I think it makes a lot of sense, especially how you have the categories. You have the China category, which we know a lot of them are always, without a catalyst and breaking out technically, and we don't know why, and they usually do revert back pretty quickly. I like the criminal history. That's a really good checklist. Ask Joey. I just took a picture of that. I want to go through that same thing too. Let's get to some of these movers, Luis, because the technicals on them are quite interesting here. So let's start with JLHL. This one was a big mover, right? We had this higher low, higher high pattern. We never even got a VWAP test, Luis. What we did, the only time that we had a test was when it lost VWAP all the way down to 1050. Was that one that you were looking at, and did you enter at VWAP? Or I know how you like to trade. You like to, set up where close to highs so that you get stopped. Your risk is very little. So I don't want to speak for you, of course, but 16, 14 high, maybe you get short 15 and 2/3 so that your stop is pretty close to your entry. How did you look at this one?
Well, there were here two possible entries when you are short, or let's say three. According to my style, you could short this one here when it fails the first high on 1450. That was a nice short. Of course, first exits always around the VWAP. You can hold something just in case you lose VWAP and it goes all the way down, but stopping if it goes higher again. Second entry, not here, but here, okay? And it failed highs. Exactly. You can short there with a tight stop. And first exits always around the VWAP. You can hold some. If it breaks VWAP, it might go all the day fade, what is called all day fade, right? Again, if you are holding part here, set up a tight stop around over these highs of 1350s, okay? So if you are now probably like $3, $4, $5 in the money on this one. I had to say I tried to avoid a lot of shorts today because it was scary sometimes. It's just about survive to trade another day, and days like this, that there are so many, you can only get one wrong and you're out of the game. So I was trading very small on the short side today on all these Chinese stocks.
Yeah, I completely get that, especially when, it felt like there was a lot of continuation today. Some days, you don't get the continuation, you just get constant failures. I think those are the beautiful days. Sure, so I completely see what you're saying there. How about you show us what you traded on the day? Let's go through some of the entries and the exits.
Yeah, first of all, I want to show you because I'm very proud of this. Okay, I'm very proud of this. Look at that. Oh. Yesterday on AMIX, right? Look at that.
Are those longs?
Those are all longs. Yeah.
Oh my Lanta. Okay, yeah. That's what I want to see.
Well, that's what I was going to ask him about.
I'm learning from you, man.
Oh, wow.
What I have to improve here is holding a little bit. I know you hold when it's with a lot of momentum, you hold a little bit. I have to improve that. But, this stock was trading above VWAP, about pre-market highs and previous day highs, good news, and it had everything to go long. I have to say also, locates were kind of expensive, although it didn't give any good short entry, only maybe when it failed here or here. Right. This is a nice short with a tighter stop, but in all the way up, you were shorting front side, quite crazy, so it was very difficult to short. And locates were expensive also. So since we have the PDT rule, it seems that locates are going more and more expensive. So let's see if that's a game changer or not.
Yeah, I mean, Luis, we've had the conversation here on the show before, just one of your traders themselves actually gathering the data saying that when the locates are increasing in price, there's a higher probability or he has a higher profit factor, I should say, when it comes to the downside. So, and that was going to be my question to you because I have it pulled up, AMIX. Are you looking at the backside of this now? Because, I mean, yesterday was a whole bunch of fun to the tune where you go up to $24. Now we're actually cut in half from that point. Did you take any short opportunities on this today?
I went long on that one.
You're saying you went long on it. Oh, you went long on it today or yesterday?
Today as well.
Today both days. Wow. Okay.
Let me show you here. I think I can show you this. Oh, hold on. Like this, okay. Yeah, I think I was long in the consolidation of the VWAP. You see, I was long when it broke the VWAP and holding here. I went long. I went long here, took a couple of losses, but then it went back again to VWAP. And again, when it broke these market highs, I was trying longs as well. I didn't go short on this one. Probably here, if it could have reached $15, that's a nice short, you know. All this way, it is the same pattern. Look, it is strong, it is breaking VWAP, it's losing VWAP without any volume, and then it reclaimed VWAP. So for me, it's not a short, taking into account what cycle of the market we are. At the same time, there were like 3 or 4 running crazy, you know? So we were expecting losing volume and losing VWAP. Locates were a little bit expensive, but it was probably worth it to pay on this one. And also we were waiting this, what I call shift of volume, you know. In order to AMIX to fall, we need to see other one running up. So the people move to that one, you know, all the volume go to the one running, and they lose interest on this one. And that probably when you see all these crazy fades or what we call death candle, you know, this death candle and losing VWAP probably is a very nice way to backside. I don't like to go short so aggressive down here or down here. Some people does it. It works pretty good, but that's not my style. I'm waiting for this pop near VWAP to go short again.
Yeah, fantastic. So before we lead to my next question, there's actually Zion in the chat. Once again, a major fan of yours here. Luis, rest of the day, thoughts on INLF and YXT. So I'll let you answer that, and then I'll proceed with a question after.
Yeah, both of them are very likely to become a very nice short. The problem is what type of day are we having? We are having a lot of reclaims, what we call reclaims, you know, where the short seems to be confident and, you know, and comfortable with the short, then it reclaims and they get a squeeze. Right now it's the same, you know, it looks like an easy short, but this is Chinese, this is low float, so if they want, they just keep buying until 740, 760. All the shorts are out of the price. They have to get out, and you know the squeeze comes and halted and so on. Yeah. So if you short these stocks right now because they are backside, it's very likely that they close below these lows. You have to work with tighter stops because you don't want to get caught in a movement to $9 or $10. Okay, so if you short these ones, just set up stops and be very aggressive in case you are wrong. If it fails highs and it keep going lower, just hold until the end of the day. That's what I should suggest to you. It's not my strong point to hold trades for hours or all of day, but that's how you should trade here, because winning ratio, if you are, look, this is like, it's difficult to balance. If you want to have a high risk reward, you cannot have a high winning ratio. And in my opinion, in this kind of stocks and in this kind of day, you have to be very aggressive with the stops in order to not get caught in a sort of squeeze. So if you are very strict with the stop loss, you're gonna fail a lot of trades. Your winning ratio is gonna go probably 30 or 40% only. But if you are right, because your winning ratio is 30, 40%, you have to make 2, 3, 4 times what you lose in a losing trade.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I heard you talking about this. This is my next question for you, Luis. Is that I heard you talking about it this morning. Is that the other day, last week, I should say, you were trading some of these memory names. They didn't get going for you. You tried them again earlier in the week, I believe it is. But what do you think about it? Because sometimes the small caps, as you bring up from a data standpoint, because you guys collect a lot, sometimes they're not running or selling off how you want them to. Do you like having that additional trick up your sleeve, those extra tricks in the bag? Because I think it's good to be able to go from point A to point B when sometimes your system isn't working. What do you feel about that?
Usually it's not good. We believe it is better to be focused on when you are good rather than being versatile and trying different things. It is true that the market sometimes changes and you don't have so many opportunities. So good, take your time, relax, collect data, review, journal your trades, whatever. There is a lot of work to do, not only trading. Being versatile it is only worth it when really the market changed for months. Let's say like when we had the COVID, for example, when we have the tech companies running crazy like NVIDIA, Tesla, all these companies, I think was 2021, 2022, they were crazy. Okay, then you trade that for a few months, but then you're focused on that one and you just keep a small cap for a while. But trading different styles, different products is very, very tough. Look, trading is already tough enough to try to play different styles, different strategies, different products. So we believe the scalability, it's being in what you do good, do it more often and do it bigger, not doing different things.
Well, I was gonna say to Sharif,
Yeah.
well, you fear the man who practiced one kick 1,000 times opposed to 1,000 kicks one time, right?
I don't think I've ever heard a better example.
There,
than that.
there you go.
Like,
That's
for me.
so there.
I couldn't agree more with that,
So,
Bill.
yeah.
As soon as you said, Luis, that focus on what you're good at rather than trying to be good at many different things, you immediately struck a chord with me because I believe that wholeheartedly as well. Luis, let's get right down to work though. Okay. So you and I have never met before. And in just 2 short weeks, I'm going to be moseying on over to the other side of the pond. So Luis, I have a very serious question for you. What do you want from Toronto so that we can bring it with us?
Oh, no, nothing really.
No, Luis, that doesn't work, man.
It doesn't work like that.
It's not going to work, man. It's not going to work. Yeah, you're going to have to say something, right? It's something memorabilia. I don't know, something, Luis.
Bring him a poutine, man.
Okay, I'll think about it. I have a very good friend who was living and working there in the head office, so I'm going to ask him what's worth to bring here.
Okay, perfect. I love that.
So so maple syrup is a good one. People putting that.
Yeah, a lot of people are putting maple syrup.
I'm gonna tell you a story about this.
Okay.
I met this guy. He's an unbelievable good friend. Probably you know him. Is Robert Nass from head office, right? And when I met him first time, I think it was 20 years ago when I went to Budapest office. He owned the Budapest office, and he went to the airport with a Maple Leafs shirt. Waiting for me because he came just right from Toronto. So yeah,
that's his favorite team.
That could be a nice. We do it change. You bring me the Maple Leafs, I bring you the Barcelona shirt.
Oh, we got a trade on our hands here,
Joey.
Joey.
What you're gonna do? Wow.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
absolutely.
But you're gonna trot around with the FC Barca.
I already have an FC Barca shirt. I had to.
You had to.
I had to. I got one for the OG, bro. Messi, man.
Okay, all right.
We gotta put some respect on Messi's name. But even though I was not very proud of his behavior a little bit in the final, but that's okay. Nobody's perfect all the time, bro. He was acting like you, teacher. He covered his mouth. Like, what are you doing, bro? You're one of the best players in the world, man.
Listen, clean your mouth. Before talking about Messi, right?
Yeah, exactly,
he was God for 20 years, so let's forgive him in the last match of his career.
I agree with that.
Something really.
No, I have to agree with that. You can't just judge a person by one moment in time. I completely agree with that. Luis,
fantastic.
You got any more questions, brother? You good to go?
Well, we don't need to know
Sayan asked also about.
Teammate looks warm. Is it warm out there?
Sorry, hold on. Go ahead.
Yeah, Sayan also asked about YXT. Let's give
let's go.
That one up before.
In here. It is kind of same or very similar setup than in the other ones. The only thing here, you add the halt risk like very, very high. Look, halt. And it was not 5-minute halt, some 15, 20 minutes halt. So, very uncomfortable to be in a position where halts are happening all the time. So if you go short here, I would recommend check the limit up, limit down halt, and set up a stop loss just before it reaches there. Okay, so if you go short here and you see the limit up, limit down halt is in $15, set up a stop loss before it gets there, so you are not getting stuck in a halt. Okay, that would be my recommendation. Probably this stock close in $5 or $4 or $3, who knows? But if it goes up, just get out before it reaches the halt limit.
Perfect stuff. Thank you so much, Luis. YXT. It was all over the map today. I couldn't agree more. But I felt like a lot of them were really volatile. And when we started the show, Luis, it was like so hard to concentrate because I'm trying to trade the most momentum names. You're in one and the other one starts breaking out. I know, like in those cases, you need to focus on what you're doing. It just becomes really hard, especially when we're on the show. Everybody's trying to tell you, hey, this is moving, that's moving. You're trying to put on the best trade. So today was definitely all over the map a little bit, but I have
to say, I admire you guys. How can you trade and chat and being live there? It's unbelievable. I couldn't do it for a day.
I'm sure you could. All right, Luis Barbado from the Barcelona office in the beautiful country of Spain. Thank you for joining us today. Luis, guys, in case you don't know, has a course available, okay? Reach out to him, A-Day Trading. Luis, how many spots are left in the small cap course, if you don't mind my asking?
Around 2 spots. We could raise a little bit, but 2 spots, 3, that would be the ones left. So if you want to join us to the team, get ready. We will start the last week of August or the 1st September, depending on the people. There will be 1 week of theory. And if they like the theory, I think they might take the practical course as well. Right. So it's 1 month trading with us, guys. Every day, daily coachings every day, 1 hour class where we review the trade, we use our platforms and everything. So get on board.
All right.
Fantastic
Perfect stuff. Brother. Thank you, Luis Barbado, for coming on. And people are asking, how much is the course? What's the information? Reach out to Luis. A-Day Trading right there. And Luis, give them your X handle one more time, if you don't mind. Your Twitter.
Yeah. I think I got it somewhere. Yeah, you have this.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'll
image that I sent you. I cannot find it now, but I will find it. Don't worry.
No. I actually have it here because I sent it to Joey. Okay. I always send Joey things when I lose them myself. Here it is, guys. Let me just bring it in. There we go. All right.
There you go.
Yeah, just give me 1 second. It's this one right here. So there we go, guys. A-Day Trading is his X handle. There is his phone number. Email is right there. And the website for adaytrading.com. It's Luis and Mark who are going to be leading the course. So make sure if you're interested, reach out to him directly if you want costs and everything like that. I'm sure they'll get back to you. Perfect.
Perfect stuff. Luis. Yeah, no need for us to find out what the weather is over there because it's nice here, probably equally as nice, but fantastic stuff.
It's nice there. Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's a lot. There's definitely
35 degrees, 80% humidity. It's terrible.
No. I take back that clap. I take back the clap. The humidity. No. We can't handle the humidity, Joey. Well, you can, but.
You handle the heat, baby.
All right,
brother.
Thanks for coming on, Luis. Take care.
Have a good one.
Hey.
Yeah, a lot going on in the meantime, guys.
My days.
Yeah, exactly. Katina Man, you've been pounding the
back,
table. Yeah, he's been pounding the table about this SpaceX short 116. I believe it's now down to one.
Oh.
Short 117.50.
Get it, Katina Man.
What? Dude,
put some respect on his name, man.
Whoa now.
Whoa.
Easy now. All right, $12. So was that 1, 2, 3,
Show him the number.
$5. Listen, I will not get it wrong anymore. Oh my
He's got $6.
Shut it down.
And you should have heard him when he got in. He's like, easiest long ever. He just waited. Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying what you said. Can we show us chart assassino if you have a second there? There we go. So he was adding, but you knew that there was going to be a bounce at some point, right? I mean, like, it's not going to go down a straight line. What's your lowest price there, Katina Man? 56s, eh? 57.13. So good entry there by the Katina Man. Way to stick to your guns, baby. Way to stick to your convictions. Shout out to the Katina Man doing it live, baby.
Yeah.
All right, it is. I'm long here, guys, INLF. I'm in at 58. 69 just showed up, Ozan. So we're going to have to take the print over here. Shout out to Ozan. He's in his vacation property. He's doing it live in Florida. He's sending me pictures. It's actually his investment property as well. So shout out to my man Ozan, who did tell me about that when him and I met down there. So yeah, is he in the chat? No, he was texting me on Instagram. Well, look, dude, look at the vacation property he's got here, man. It's actually, look at that, man. That's beautiful. Yeah, look at that white sand. You got the whole thing. It's called Destin, Katina Man, Destin, Florida, for anybody who's interested in joining Ozan there. But as I mentioned, it's almost 25 after 1, and we all know what 1 o'clock means, so let's send it up to Sia to start the new segment.
Let's talk a little bit SpaceX. I want to discuss this with Adara here. I want you to come in on this. So total revenues there, as we saw, we were covering SpaceX late yesterday, discussing it. Total revenue was at $7.8 billion, which is up 92% year over year. But there are a lot of metrics to also look at as to why the stock is down 10% right now. Net loss has come in at $541 million. CapEx, $18.37 billion, all driven by a massive scaling of AI infrastructure. Now, the Starlink connectivity AI compute segment also will talk about that. Starlink at $4.29 billion, which is up 66% year over year. It's reached 12 million subscribers as well. And AI compute segment at $2.56 billion, which is up roughly 247% year over year. It also faced certain initial segment operating losses as data centers continue to expand here as well. But space launch services as well at $962 million, which is up 29% year over year. CFO, however, of SpaceX, that is Brett Johnson had said on the earnings call yesterday that the company is on pace, I quote, to reach $100 billion in annualized recurring revenue by the end of the year. Elon Musk also told his shareholders in his opening remarks on the earnings call that SpaceX plans to build its AI data centers exclusively using only NVIDIA chips as well. So we're also going to probably discuss that later. And he had said that he expects to end this year with over 2 gigawatts of compute, growing closer to 10 gigawatts of compute. That's a big number by the end of 2027. CapEx has jumped more than 6-fold from a year earlier to $18.37 billion in the second quarter. Most of that, Adara, as you do know it, $15.83 billion of which has all been AI. And total CapEx figure has now exceeded the $13.22 billion average analyst estimate coming from FactSet. I know you do have a lot to say about this.
I have a lot to say about this. I made one infographic already. It's already on XTTV Research. I cranked out 2 in a fever dream over the last 20 or so minutes. I don't even remember making these. All jokes aside, here's the CapEx visual for SpaceX. So I see, I know we talked about a Q2, but like, that's, you know, we're already talking about Q2. So I did H1 2026. So all the infographics I have on SpaceX are going to cover Q1 and Q2 cumulatively. Now I apologize because I downplayed how severe the CapEx was. I was like, well, it was a little below estimates. And then I looked at the CapEx for the first half of 2026 and oh my goodness. So not only are we accelerating here, and I can just tell by math that we're accelerating. So it's 28.476 billion. So we're going to say 28.5 billion CapEx for the first half of the year. But we had over 18 billion in CapEx for Q2. So that means we accelerated from roughly 10 bill in Q1 to 18 bill in Q2. So that's already sequential CapEx acceleration. Let's talk about this year over year CapEx acceleration for H1 2026. Now this infographic I'm not going to post until the weekend. Sorry guys, I like to keep you in suspense. So we're not going to see this on XTTV Research yet, but this is wild to me. So as Sia mentioned, we know most of Q2 CapEx was AI. Almost all of H1 CapEx was AI here. That's 23.55 billion of the 28.476 billion total CapEx for H1. That's all going to be AI. Now, if you look at the CapEx growth year over year, I have to change that. It says U.S. revenue. I digress, but 610% year over year increase in capital expenditures for the first half of the year, only for AI CapEx. That is some wild AI spending, guys. This is pretty crazy to me. Total H1 CapEx increase 400%. So I apologize for downplaying SpaceX CapEx, like, oh, it wasn't as bad as we thought for Q1. Yeah, it's maybe even worse than we could have imagined for the full first half of the year. If you take a look here as well, this is revenue, again, for H1 2026. What I found fascinating about this is space revenue, you know, for the company called SpaceX, is down 2% year over year for H1. And I don't want to, you know, I'm going to stop belaboring the point here, but this is another visual income and adjusted EBITDA per segment. As you guys can tell, big, you know, drops in income or rather increases in losses for 2 of the company's 3 segments and for overall income from operations. Again, this visual and the CapEx one, not yet out on XTTV Research. So stay tuned for more infographic goodness. But yeah, I think the moral of my story and maybe the moral of this report is sometimes it's nice to not just look at the one quarter. Sometimes it's nice to look at the whole half of the year. So you can be truly enlightened, I'll say, by what companies are doing. And in this case, how much money SpaceX is spending on AI.
Also, the Shiba Inu plushie as well is something you want to keep in mind.
Okay. What I really liked yesterday was the direct to cellular commentary on the call. That to me is probably one of the more disruptive things that SpaceX can get into because it's already a developed industry. And that's the thing. You don't have to prove that there's going to be customers for your launch cadence. You don't have to acquire new customers for Starlink which they're growing pretty nicely. But to me, you want to take what the telecom has already got. They've already got paying clients. They're sick to hell of having these roaming fees. Like I was just looking at how much it's going to cost me per day when I'm in Europe. Like imagine if I actually had Starlink direct to cellular and I didn't have to worry about that at all. You don't have to worry about anywhere you go. And you don't need new phones. That's the thing. It works on already available iPhone devices. So I love that part of Starlink's business. I like the corresponding trade that comes with that with shorting telecom, unless they can diversify in some other way, and they really haven't shown us exactly how they're going to do that. So telecom to me, super important here because it's already an industry that's raking in money. And you've seen like how the telecom industry is sort of, kind of reduced their capex or not adding as many towers because they've kind of maxed out on growth. Well, imagine now that a disruptor comes in and starts stealing their clients. Where will they be then? So I'm going to keep pounding the table on this trade to take on telecom, kind of short telecom, go long SpaceX. I like that. So that's just what I heard on the call. But let's actually get down to the nitty gritty and talk a little bit about these numbers. $25 billion free cash flow deficit. Well, how'd that happen? They generated $3.5 billion just in the last 6 months, positive operating cash flow. Well, their first half capex, $28.5 billion, and that drove their free cash flow to negative for the first time in a long time, $25 billion, the negative on that. And I mentioned this yesterday, and I want to keep mentioning it again because I think it's super important. As much as I love Starlink, as much as I love the new version 3 satellites they're going to put out there with Starship, as much as I don't like how their average revenue per user keeps contracting. Well, why is it contracting? They grew. They added almost, I don't know how many new customers year over year, but they have about 12 million. And they grew 66% on that top line number. While their revenue per user is going down because of 2 reasons. One, they're focusing more on individuals like homes rather than businesses. So I'd like to see an enterprise push. And number 2, they're focusing more on international markets where they're able to charge a lot less. So the North American market, of course, probably the highest where you can charge, but the European market as well, not tapping into that as much. And something tells me, and he didn't say this, of course, on the call, that these are political headwinds. I'll just give you guys an example. So Canada announced yesterday that we're putting these low Earth orbit satellites into orbit over the Arctic. The idea is here so that our forces can be connected when they're defending the Arctic against, of course, the Russians. They chose not to go with SpaceX, despite the fact that SpaceX already has a constellation there. They're going with some new Montreal company that has like a few of these things up there. They're barely it's like 1% of what SpaceX has. Well, why did Canada do that? Because they don't want Elon Musk having his button on the cutoff switch. And so you're seeing this push now to having, sort of national sovereignty over your network. And I think that's a big headwind for Tesla, unless he can somehow, SpaceX, unless he can somehow kind of assuage some of the fears there. So think about that. If Canada's doing it, think about what the Europeans are going to be doing. They're going to even be more aggressive and not going with SpaceX. $100 billion cash cushion, though. They got a lot of money in the bank here. $85.7 billion they raised in the IPO, and then they went to the debt market in June, raising another $20 billion. So they got a nice, cool, and easy $100 billion in the tank there they can deploy for CapEx. And their cloud backlog, we've seen them already kind of rent compute to Anthropic. They're renting compute to Google. But who else is going to buy compute from them at the frontier model? I submit to you, it's not going to be OpenAI. So unless they can expand their deals with Google and Anthropic, probably that's where it ends up hanging out. And then the lockup period. Tomorrow and next week. Be careful.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the outlier for this, for me, what really stood out is the EPS beat coming in significantly better than expected. So you're almost turning a profit at that point. And if you continue on this path, then next quarter, you will see some form of profitability. Now, as for the low Earth orbit, satellite stream, I like what you had to say on there. 10,000 already up there in space, looking to add a little bit more. 12 million paid Starlink subscribers. But listen, when we talk about the total addressable market, and we've gone through this before, it's not necessarily within all of this space exploration and everything that Elon has been forecasting about. The majority of the revenue is going to come from the AI play, from building the data center. Like we talked about $16 trillion potential total addressable market, with the majority of it falling on XAI. So what they have with these small deals, or with these deals with Anthropic and Google, is totally fine, but just don't forget, put everything else aside, this is going to be the main runner. I understand that the name may be a little bit misleading, but it's Starlink and XAI that are going to be the driving forces of this company for the next couple of quarters, in my opinion. And listen, Elon Musk, I mentioned this earlier before, mentioning $1 trillion in revenue, which I think is he's saying there's a non-zero chance, all right, which I find extremely interesting. Non-zero chance there. But this is where the majority of the money is coming from. Starlink is great. He says he's already addressed that we're going to just absolutely take market share left, right, and center from some of these other names, whatever's in the States, the T-Mobiles and everything, and whatever, AT&T, I believe it is, Horizon, all those. Listen, they're in trouble. We understand that. But again, I think it's going to be a small fraction of what the AI segment can do, considering revenue climbed 247%. Look into the total addressable market, a smaller fraction of it is coming from actual space exploration. See ya. Okay.
It's you?
Oh, no.
Oh, it's her. Oh, my days. Oh, my God. We love you, Ram.
That's
Got it.
crazy.
Me, Ramin. Okay, let's take a look at AMD now. EPS at $1.66 adjusted versus $1.62 expected. Revenue at $11.54 billion versus $11.28 billion that was expected. Overall, AMD revenue has climbed 50% to $7.69 billion. A year ago, that is a sign of the company's central position in the market for AI chips. However, Elon Musk does feel differently about this. AMD's data center unit is what is driving the company's growth here. Data center sales are up $6.7 billion, up 107% on an annual basis, which the company has all attributed to central processing unit, that is CPUs, and graphics processing unit, that is GPU sales. AMD has also said that it expects about $13 billion in revenue for the current quarter, plus or minus $300 million versus LSEG expectations of $12.52 billion. Analysts have also been looking for guidance as high as $14 billion. AMD CEO, at the same time, Lisa Su, in an interview today, brushed off comments from Elon Musk also that SpaceX had been committing to exclusively use NVIDIA's AI chips. She said that, I quote, "I have tremendous respect for Elon and everything that he has done, and so we look forward to continuing to partner over the longer term." So yesterday, like I mentioned on the earnings call, CEO of SpaceX, Elon Musk, had said that NVIDIA had, quote unquote, the best architecture, and also touted the close cooperation and partnership with NVIDIA. But as of last year, in May, he had told CNBC that his AI company would also buy chips from both the companies, if not more.
All right, so here's what I like about AMD. I like the ROCm software, okay? A lot of people want to kind of be able to bring in their own open weight models. As Katina Man was explaining yesterday, and as I explained, these frontier models are almost in direct competition with you. So you got to be able to bring it home. Bring home the hardware as well as the frontier or whatever model you're going to be using. And that's what AMD is going to let you do through their ROCm software, because CUDA is closed and ROCm is open. So you're going to definitely be able to put your own application layer as well as really heavily customize it. So I do like that. I like that kind of different pathway that AMD has taken rather than going the closed route like NVIDIA. It's a key differentiator for them that could open up a new market. So you got to give them credit there. I do also like the kind of the burgeoning demand, or I would say re-burgeoning demand, if that's even a word, for the CPU. As we grow more and more reliant on inference AI and agentic AI, the CPU will have a larger role, and AMD does CPUs, at least for the moment, better than NVIDIA. So despite the fact that it's down 6.25, I still feel that they have the advantage there. Now, with respect to the actual earnings report, man, they secured a landmark deal, of course, with Anthropic, 2 gigawatts of the MI450. That is their latest and greatest, MI450 and MI455, as well as with the Helios rack and the EPYC CPU. So all three sort of, 4, if I could say, because ROCm as well. 4 different sources of AMD specific products that are going to be making their way there. But one thing that I didn't like, obviously, is the weakness in gaming. Gross margins as well were a little interesting. But obviously, because of the CapEx, we kind of know that they have to spend there. So mixed report, I get it's down 6.75, but maybe it's just the CapEx. What do you think?
I think there's actually a couple of things that I find when I was reading through this report, Sharif, that was kind of hidden. I'm going to get your opinion on this momentarily. Listen, we already know that this company trades on a stretched multiple, all right? So it went on this big time run. So unless AMD blew absolutely everything out of the water, I didn't think they were going to continue to appreciate. This thing's up 200-300% in the past couple of months, all right? So big time run. I'm not surprised by this sideways consolidation. The numbers were good, right? But were they surprising to the street? No, that's why I believe we sold off a little bit. You have the increase in capital expenditure. We've mentioned time after time that the street is making companies pay for this, but I believe it's between, this is what I found extremely interesting, where we have NVIDIA on the GPU side of things actually gaining shares from its customers, opposed to what we're seeing in AMD, where they have to dispense 160 million shares to Meta and OpenAI for their CPUs, and that's what I found.
If the
upon delivery, yes, upon in tranches,
yeah,
right?
Exactly,
so they're still giving up, and it came to a total of 18% of the company, and that's where I found really interesting. Where and going back to my point, where NVDA is gaining share from other companies, where AMD had to release share
that's a great point,
to other companies in order for them to obtain these CPUs.
Agree with that.
So that is one thing that stood out to me personally. Aside from that, they're going to be number 2 in this race. They have been. They were lagging for a bit, and it's gone on a big time run, but I'm going to keep an eye out on that just in case the street doesn't like it in the near future, and it's more at the front of everything.
But they're open to dilute though. So even know, they will dilute if they issue more shares, because they're going to have to issue more shares.
They're going to have to.
But in addition to that, even when they issue more shares, they can dilute them out as well, right? Like the OpenAIs and stuff like that.
Fair
but then
enough.
by definition, they're diluting everybody else.
Exactly, and that was 18% of outstanding shares right now, which is a hefty sum if you ask me. Again, I don't know what the float is exactly, but again, I think that at some point that might be brought to center stage, and I don't know if the street's going to necessarily like that at this point.
Yeah, I agree with you, because people were complaining about that at the time when they did announce it. They were like, really, you're giving up 10% of your company? Possibly.
Exactly.
Pre-dilution.
I don't know if it was 160 each respectively or 160 million split amongst Meta and OpenAI.
I remember the OpenAI deal. I remember the Meta deal came after, but I remember OpenAI was about 10%, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I guess so that's around 80 million, I guess, and then they're going to add another 10% into Meta here. So again, giving up 20% of your shares, giving control to other companies, really.
Casey's calling out ASTC. Case, oh my days. There it goes, man. 58%, $21 million market cap. I got to warn you guys, though, the volume is still south of 1 million, but the breakout is there, man. Flat top break through 10. This is ASTC. How many rejections did we get in and around that 10 area? And then that all, just rocketed through there. There it goes into 12. Let's put this up, on the side so we can see the price. 1207 high, 1185 right now. ASTC midday breaker, still south of 1 million though. Well, actually just hit 1 million right now. Get it, Case. Hope you print out multiple storms. Grunfeld called it apparently. Shout out to Case. Look at her, man. Just giving other people credit like that. Keep your eye on that. ASTC, the ticker. Let's send it back to see you.
Let's talk SNDK reporting after the bell today. Revenue forecast for SanDisk, Wall Street is expecting around $8.64 billion. That's tracking above management's original guidance range of $7.75 billion to $8.25 billion. Earnings per share consensus estimates are near $34.37, which is up drastically 2 cents from per share, a year ago. Gross margins now. Adjusted gross margins are forecasted to reach approximately 81.5%. Growth driver, the main growth driver over here is surging enterprise solid state drive, that is the SSD, and NAND, that is the NAND that we've been hearing, flash memory demand for AI data centers. SNDK is flat on the day today.
I gotta tell you, I don't really have too much in the way of commentary for SNDK. Obviously, I just want to see what their prices are. Are they gonna guide higher price increases? What kind of LTAs they have, long-term agreements, and we juxtapose the price in the LTA versus current market value. We make an assessment as to what they gave up to lock in that future revenue versus what they could have had if they allowed the market to kind of dictate the prices. That's what we've been seeing a lot. I want to also see, whether they're diversifying their hand in the different types of RAM, what kind of deals they have with different companies, like all these RAM specific things. But I don't have a comment on the earnings report.
I mean, as for the report, guys, Sean and I believe it was Sean, Adara, and I, we covered the previous one. We've seen it drop below, and Brando as well, too, I believe was there. Drop below $1,000 and then just double from that point. Now, again, the market is forward-looking, and I think that's the point where we're sitting. A lot has been erased. So if these guys come out with outstanding numbers and continue to guide higher and say, hey, listen, this bottleneck is going to continue longer than what we were expecting, I wouldn't be surprised if we see an increase in price, because it has been beaten up and it was hit the heaviest out of all of these memory storage names, all right? It was down 50% plus off of the highs. So anything positive when you're beaten up and then you just put in this guide, and if you increase current quarter guide, full year 26, whatever it may be, and you double beat, I think we're going to see some new highs in this name. Not all-time highs, but from where we're currently sitting at right now. Now, $1,500 is your potential high here on the earnings report, and $1,200 for the low potentially. All right, so we're looking at an 11% expected move. But I'm also reading we can see high as 16% when it comes to the expected move. Now, listen. I don't know how, I feel like I talk about it every day. This also is going to be influenced, in my opinion, in what happened in South Korea. When you have a bunch of participants eliminated from the market who are really involved with this memory trade, it may hinder the potential of this move moving forward. So we'll see what happens come the report. But yeah, definitely a lot of questions looming in regards to SanDisk.
Oh, what is this? John Ross.
What's up, Johnny?
I don't know what SGD is. You want to find out while I read this out? Shout out to John Ross. Thank you for the $28.98. Good day, buds. I bought Microsoft at $377 and sold at $493 for cash, and rebuy at $492. What's your analysis by end of September? Is there opportunity cost? Is the opportunity cost for NVIDIA better? Interesting. What is that, Ram? SGD?
The Sudanese pound.
Oh, thank
Wow.
you.
Okay.
Sudanese pound. That's awesome, man.
All right.
I've never seen that once. That's awesome. Thank you very much for that. Let's look at Microsoft here just before we get back to the ladies. Let's go Microsoft. Let's go weekly.
Oh, Sudanese Singapore dollars. We're saying Sudanese pound. That's great.
All right. So here's what we got. So you're thinking opportunity cost for NVIDIA. Well, I think NVIDIA is still in the range. I don't want to say Microsoft's not in the range. It kind of is. You got 350, 360 as support, right? That double bottom there in the same way that we had the double top at 560. We got that double bottom at 350. Definitely you had a lot of resistance at 470. You had that initially in July 24. You had it again in early June of this year. You're above it right now. I think we're looking at 500 in the face. Look, to get to the closing prints on the weekly, you got to get to 530. What percentage is that? To get to from where we are right now to 530, that's about an 8% move. If we were to get to all-time highs, then it's about a 15% move, 14.87% from the current price. So 14.87% for Microsoft. You're thinking September, so that's maybe let's just go 2 months, right? Let's say end of September, almost 2 months. I think it's completely reasonable. Let's look at NVDA. There's going to have to be a great catalyst for that. Now, the thing about NVDA is it stair steps. This is the weekly on NVIDIA, right? So you initially had resistance at 150. Now, you didn't quite make it down into 150 as support on this latest consolidation area, but it's more like 160 or low 160s. By the same token, you've got about 195 resistance in that same consolidation area, but you also have 195 or 190 as support in this consolidation area. So whether or not NVIDIA is able to take out that 240 and start a new stair step up pattern, perhaps 240, 250 as support rather than resistance, tough one to say. But if we were to make it up to 250, it's very similar. It's about 14% from the current price action into that 250 area. So I don't know how you want to square this circle, but they both seem, at least to get into the range here that I'm thinking, 250, it's about 14%. Whether Microsoft can get back to all-time highs or just get above 500, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. But I think that there is equal opportunity if you're looking at it just from a technical sense. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, man, I agree. So what I did is I just pull up the PE respective of each company. NVDA trading at 30 times, and then you have Microsoft trading at 27 times.
That's smart.
I think there's value in both, to be honest with you. If you ask me, it's clear. I should say clear as mud, but that's pretty crazy. Listen, it was lagging for a while. You've seen a strong uptick to the tune of where it's up 25% in the span of a couple of days, and only eliminating half of its losses, now getting closer to the all-time highs. Same thing here with NVDA, a couple of strong sessions, right? I think you really have to break down what's going on. Now, where I do believe NVDA can stand out from, you have sovereign nations with their AI build-out, the continuous growth within Elon Musk stating within XAI, but then you also have Copilot, the underdog of all underdogs, starting to grow a little bit faster than people were expecting. So, I mean, there's bull cases for both companies, in my opinion. I think you just have to do a little bit more, maybe a little bit more due diligence to see which one suits your style.
Good call.
Let's take a look at WDC as well. So estimated EPS that Wall Street is thinking consensus estimates are pegged at approximately $3.30 to $3.35 per share, which is roughly double the $1.66 per share that was reported in the same period as of last year. WDC is still flat on the day, just like SNDK, but estimated revenue also that is forecasted as quarterly revenue of about $3.70 billion. More than a 42% increase year over year is what this would mark. Growth drivers here are strong AI-driven demand for high-capacity enterprise storage and data center hardware as well, which continues to fuel expectations alongside certain margin expansions here.
So here's what I like. They've got a lot of demand for that 30 terabyte Ultra SMR HDD. It's being bought hand over fist by hyperscalers, and they're able to charge essentially what they want for it. So this is what I want to see. I want to see more about storage, high capacity, high speed storage, specifically for the hyperscalers. I want to hear very little about consumer products. And they also got NAND pricing recovering quite aggressively here, and they're also looking to pay down debt pretty aggressively. So I want to hear more about those three things. How about yourself?
I'm in the same boat when it comes to SanDisk, right? Like you're talking about a bottleneck in a space in general that's been on a parabolic run. The market price is in a lot, but the whole space has been beaten up. So if you come in better than expected, increase the guide, then I think there's a good chance that these names can continue to go on that second leg in that run again towards the all-time highs.
We're going to talk next about BAC here. Adira, I know you want to talk about the story as well. Bank of America CEO Brian Moynihan has said that the company spends more than $250 million a year covering GLP-1 weight loss drugs for its employees, saying that the rapidly rising cost is a worthwhile investment in his workforce. Now, the company sets aside more than $2 billion a year on healthcare overall for Bank of America's roughly 211,000 employees, meaning the GLP-1 medications are alone now account for 13% of all the healthcare spending. He has acknowledged that some employees may also leave Bank of America before the company realizes the long-term savings here as well for improved health. But he has said, and I quote, that the decision ultimately reflects a push to provide valuable benefits. He's also continued to say that Bank of America has paired access to the drugs with health coaching to help monitor weight loss as well as lifestyle adjustments. But beyond long-term preventative health, he's also pointed out to emerging clinical data with the GLP-1s as well, suggesting near-term benefits, including lower incidence of cardiovascular events. I just want to check how BAC is doing on the day before I send it over to you. Yeah, up 1%.
Yeah, so I don't truthfully see, I'm going to be honest, I don't really think this is like a market moving story, but there was this whole interview with Brian Moynihan, BAC CEO, as you mentioned, and Andrew Ross Sorkin. There was another point that was made that I found pretty interesting before I get into the GLP-1 stuff, which again is only tangentially related to this. But yeah, so during that interview, I guess Andrew Ross Sorkin asked him about this whole Leopold Aschenbrenner and the blow up with situational awareness, where they were basically, forced to sell some of their I think all of their public holdings to Citadel. So anyway, so what happened there is Brian Moynihan basically described this as, quote, a warning shot for the market, saying that basically leverage if you're heavily leveraged like this, if you're getting margin calls, this could be a bit of a risk here. So I think that was an interesting look. The other thing that I wanted to say that, again, tangentially related to this story is Eli Lilly reported earnings this morning. And my girl Eli Lilly reported really strong Mounjaro and Zepbound growth. Now, Zepbound actually declined ever so slightly sequentially last quarter. This quarter, you've got a sequential and year-over-year improvements. Mounjaro just continues to the upside. This is its 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th consecutive quarter of sequential growth, and obviously we're growing year over year as well here for Mounjaro. So again, diabetes drug, it's been out longer, still outpacing that Zepbound injectable, or the weight loss injectable there, Zepbound, but still a good look here for Lilly regardless. And I think very timely that we get Brian Moynihan mentioning these weight loss drugs on the day that Eli Lilly reports, and Novo Nordisk was supposed to report before that leak yesterday. So yeah, interesting look here for weight loss drugs, and I think for, in general, just that whole interview with Moynihan.
Yeah, I don't have comments specifically on the Bank of America aspect of this, but I definitely think GLP-1s are, something to keep an eye out on. I mentioned it in the morning. Retatrutide finished its phase 3 trial. That's by Eli Lilly. It is a triple agonist. The best kind of drug we have right now is a double agonist, and that's by Novo. And so I definitely think, leading into the next year, 2 years, it's going to be Lilly leading the way. We know that because these things take a lot of time to make. And it's Lilly who's in the phase 3 trial now. We're going to either see retatrutide by the end of 27 or early 28. We'll have to wait and see exactly how the FDA clears it. But, to me, these things are here to stay. And I think, what's interesting too is social stuff has kind of changed with these GLP-1 drugs. Now, you're seeing a lot of the people who are pounding the table on body positivity and stuff like that in the early 2020s. Those people are now taking GLP-1. Well, it's just an observation.
Listen, I think it's fair, Sharif. Now, listen, we have a duopoly here, Sharif, between Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly. I think this is a drug that it's still in its infancy and can continue to grow. And to his point, listen, more and more people are starting to adopt this style of drug, which I think is fantastic. We've had the oral pills start to come out, so you can sway away from the injectables. So I think considering we're in the earlier stages of this, there could be some form of disruptive service. We had Hims and Hers obviously go through their issues. For me, I love what we have going on, and I think it's something fantastic. And it's hurt other companies. It's been a complete disruptive service. But at some point, when you have a duopoly, we've seen that within some other names. I'm not going to compare apples to oranges. There might be another participant step in with some even more advanced drug treat, something that doesn't deplete the muscles as much, allows you to exercise less and still
bone density
that way. Bone
is
density.
An issue as
so
well.
yeah,
Course,
I mean, it's still a pretty new drug, and I find it interesting in how much it's affected everyone around. Like, you see the signs everywhere, and it's quite crazy.
Let's take a look at, that could be our final story for the news segment. Anthropic Mythos model had created fake online identities as it looked to pressure humans into approving certain malicious code updates to an open source project, which marks, yes, yet another case and cyber incident that's carried out by a frontier AI system here. UK-based AI Security Institute, that is the AISI, which is a research body, had removed safeguards, also disabled certain safety filters as well, and deliberately given these models internet access. OpenAI's GPT 5.6 Sol had also been involved, in other cybersecurity incidents during this evaluation. And this is coming after a series of cyber breaches that we've been hearing about and we've been listening, carried out by these models developed by Anthropic as well as OpenAI in recent weeks. They've prompted a wave of fears, obviously, around the sophistication of AI systems, also the reach and the extent of the potential harm that can be caused on this.
I think this is an interesting development here. I think the sandboxing that these guys are doing, it needs a bit more robust of a team to make sure that it is in fact sandboxed, because this is not the first time we've heard about them not giving it internet access and it finding its way through, whether it's hacking through accounts or, figuring out a way to bypass the firewall. I mean, these things are obviously quite sophisticated, and I think that the parameters under which they work need to be equally as sophisticated.
I'm not going to comment on this. I'm going to go over a couple of questions in Super Chats here before we end the day. APLD, I'll gladly take a look at it. You've been asking me all day, so I'll get that over with. Listen, I do like the company. Applied Digital, big time contracts as well too. So, oh my God, what happened here?
What happened, Joey?
Well, I lost this here. There it is.
Oh.
Bang. Now we got it back.
Boom.
Just like that. APLD. I think it's like a $300 million leasing agreement. They've received, APLDS. Why do I keep typing that in? And then we'll get to your super chat momentarily. So yeah, I mean, it went on a big run. This is another name that just was going parabolic for quite some time. You go April of last year, $2, yeah, right, all the way up to a peak of 40, and then it continued to climb up to $50. That's a big time move. Now, I'm not surprised by this sideways consolidation. Expect that, right? When you go on, like, this is crazy, 1,100%, minting a lot of millionaires. I think what they have in the pipeline is good, and I wouldn't be surprised. Just keep an eye out if this $23 level does crack, that you might head a little bit lower, but I wouldn't be surprised with how things are holding up. Now, with that being said, we'll take a look at that super chat.
Boom.
Now, $5 super chat from our good friend Chain Reactor. I plan on buying 25,000 shares in SpaceX tomorrow at the low. I'm calling it on RKLBs, selling that garbage stock and transferring everything into SpaceX. Yeah, I think you've been pounding the table on what your dislike for Rocket Lab is, and I mean, I don't know, RKLB, I don't know how you feel about that, Sharif. I don't think it's a
Well, brother, you know, it's just, it's not ready. It's not as developed as a company as SpaceX. Can we really expect it to be, though, right? I think if you're getting into Rocket Labs, you know, you should be buying on the dips, never into the highs. It is putting in some higher lows there, Joey, to be fair to it, but that's a technical perspective. I know that they've got some stuff going on there. They're also talking about direct-to-cellular connectivity, so you may see that from them. I don't expect SpaceX to be the only, company that offers that kind of thing.
No,
right?
No, I don't think so either.
But do they have the money? That's the thing. Do they have the money for the
R&D?
Compared
to SpaceX, no. Yeah.
Well, don't forget now, SpaceX is not just a space company; it's an AI company. So their capex gets kind of diverted in multiple avenues.
In multiple streams, yeah.
Exact streams,
absolutely.
yeah. Well said.
Yeah.
Right. You're going to have the majority of the money right now looks like it's going into XAI, but obviously, as you look to increase the launch cadence, you're going to have to increase your the amount of thruster or the starships that you have, the actual boosters, and then just for the regular one that they're basically launching every other day, right? Are you going to increase those as well?
Well, we've seen over the past couple quarters, they actually decreased a couple of the launches as well.
They dropped a little bit, yeah.
In Starship.
I think a lot of that is commercially based, though. You have the customers that need to go,
exactly,
right? Sometimes you have more, sometimes you have less.
But to add to your point, though, even though the money is dispersed, we've seen where the majority of that can potentially come from and can help fuel the Starship side of things. So if you have that additional revenue stream, like the monster that EWS can be, then by all means, right? Like we've seen the numbers. And you know what's funny? There's one more thing that I wanted to bring up, Sharif. You brought up there, like SpaceX has like $41 billion or something in backlog in regards to cloud.
I can look
If you can pull that up quick. As I was reading through the report, I kind of laughed because if you go back to Alphabet's
14.1,
14.1 billion in backlog.
Well,
that's
because they only have two customers.
Yeah, exactly. So that's 5% of Google's backlog.
Sure.
So it's not even comparable whatsoever. Google with like $514 billion in backlog, and that's why I'm going to remain bullish for the next previous.
How much of that is their own?
Yeah, but
Gemini, that they can't.
Can you classify that as backlog though? Because you're not generating.
I can find out in a minute, but
yeah, I guess that is a good question. How much is that of Gemini? Well, I think that's important to know. But
absolutely. All right, man. 201. Let's send it over this way. See you tomorrow, guys.